Welcome to the Fearless Floyd Show. We'll begin in 60 seconds.
Take the day off with me. Come on, take it off with me. Take the day off with me. Take the day off. Get on traffic. Traffic with my friend right here. That's what I say. The past St. Jack's, they ending up to nothing. Everybody loves it with me. Okay, yeah. When mom cut off your welfare, I was there. Holding you down, mama. Holding you down. When I left you alone, I was there. Everybody knows I was there. You wanna call me out now? Still loving you like I'm loving the sound. Yes, I'll still be there. Them found ass niggas ain't here right now. Who loves you now? And who loves you now? And who loves you now? Take the day off with me. Take the day off with me. Take the day off with me. Take the day off. Take the day off with me. Maybe the whole fucking year. Oh, eon. Bitch, I'm fucking prepared. This is my love song when I'm drunk off the beer. I love you, bitch. I'm the... Start from the beginning. Yeah. You got a buzz pants, don't catch no feelings. I come through with the style that's always revealing.
Said very boldly, you could end this Ukrainian-Russia war in 24 hours.
Yeah.
How?
So I know Zelensky very well because he was very honorable with the fake phone call, impeachment hoax #1. They said I made a phone call to him and I was very threatening. I wasn't at all. I was actually very nice. I was congratulating him on a victory. But when they asked him, they said, were you threatened? He didn't even know what they were talking about. He was very honorable. He could have done grandstand. He said, yeah, I felt threatened. I felt threatened. He didn't do that. And as you know, I get along very well with Putin. I would tell Putin, got to settle. I would tell Zelensky, you got to settle. I would tell one, you're going to load up with money. I'd tell the other, you're not going to get any money. I would get a settlement in 24 hours. Now, it should have never happened. You have thousands, hundreds of thousands of dead people right now, hundreds of thousands. You have cities that are obliterated. I don't know if you've ever seen the cities after they finish with the rockets. You have cities with no building standing. It looks like just a demolition zone. It's so horrible.
Sad.
And you know, I don't know that they want to settle. If they don't want to settle, we're out of there. You know, I watched over the last week or so what's going on in Europe. This thing could end up in World War III if we don't get it settled.
Made a sudden U-turn in a meeting with UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres.
Our country is behind the United Nations 100%. I think the potential of the United Nations is incredible, really incredible. It can do so much. So I'm behind it.
But there was another
Trump is a game changer by himself if he will be sure in Ukraine.
Forgive me, StreamYard is going through some issues. I don't know why it's, one of my complaints about StreamYard, bandwidth.
Helping with regard to the Russia-Ukraine catastrophe. And his words of wisdom mean a lot. And we've been friends for a long time now, really, from the first term on. And I appreciate you being here. It's really nice. Thank you.
Thank you.
Please.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm very happy to have the opportunity to exchange with President Trump and our teams. And indeed, we have a lot of things to do together, and especially fix these crazy wars we have. And I just saw the message you issued after your meeting with the President Zelensky, and I think it's a a very right one. I mean, if we back concretely Ukraine in this situation, given the Russian economy is suffering, I mean, there is this opportunity of a good future.
It is.
So we will back it.
I think so. I think so. They're very enthusiastic in a lot of ways. It's been a terrible war. It should have ended. And they've been 3.5 years and they've gotten not so far. So we'll see what happens. But the other side can fight too. And they've proven that. Maybe it could be that Russia's a paper tiger. I don't know what they are, but 3.5 years of fighting and killing everybody, of killing 7,000 people a week for nothing, So it's a very sad situation, but most of you have seen the recent statement I put out a little while ago. And I'm glad you got it, but I feel that way. I really do feel that way. Let them get their land back.
Yep.
On to Ukraine, because
Come on, StreamYard. Oh, man. Brave.
Said,
All right. Sorry about that. StreamYard. Sometimes when you load to do a show, the bandwidth is inadequate. So I had to refresh the browser. So obviously it looks like it's a little bit better now. But the reason that I am doing this presentation for you guys is specific. And I got to get everything loaded back up. So hang on. All right, what you see here, who really controls mainstream media? Because the number one world's wealthiest person is Elon Musk, who owns Twitter. Number two is Larry Ellison, who owns Oracle and is now TikTok. Then we have Mark Zuckerberg over here, who is number three, who owns Meta Facebook. Right? So let me show you this little thing over here. And I'm going somewhere with this, so stay tuned, please. This is Bloomberg's index, and I'll refresh it just so you know that it is for real as of today. Here are your top three people: Elon Musk, Larry Ellison, Mark Zuckerberg, and combined they have $1 trillion in assets, net worth. Next underneath that is Amazon's Jeff Bezos, who is also mainstream media. Larry Page, Sergey Brin. This is the adrenochrome. I mean, Google, folks. I must have misspoke on that adrenochrome. Oh no, Chrome is their search engine. Adreno is the engine that runs it. That's right. Steve Ballmer, Microsoft. The reason Bill Gates isn't up here is because he's been divesting his assets. This is the Louis Vuitton designer franchise over in France. Jensen Huang, he is the CEO of NVIDIA, which is the supercomputer chip. Obviously, number 10, Warren Buffett. We all know who he is. Michael Dell. So let me tell you, folks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and I'm pretty sure Warren Buffett probably was there too. But I would say out of those right there, except for this guy, the top 10 people you see here were either at Mar-a-Lago or were at the White House between November 5th, 2024 and February 1st, 2025. So I want you just to check on this. Who's really running mainstream media? Because obviously very few people are watching the traditional mainstream media, which would be ABC, CBS, NBC, and Fox on broadcast television. Then everybody went to cable television, right? You went CNN or Fox News or MSNBC or News Nation or one of these other sources in the traditional mainstream media, alternative to broadcasting over the air, which would be cable. Now we have social media that's available online on the internet. All of these people, all they want is your data, because your data defines who you are. It defines your digital DNA. If you aren't familiar with your digital DNA is your cell phone, your laptop, your smart vacuum cleaner, your smart refrigerator, okay, your Wi-Fi, your router, your Bluetooth, all the apps that you're signed into. All of those are your digital DNA. They create a digital biometric, for lack of a better term, footprint of who you are, where you're at, what you're doing, what you've done, everything about you. And I'm going to continue to play this video that I put together for you guys so you can hear it, you can listen to it, you can find out exactly what is on the way. Because, when it comes, folks, people are going to be overwhelmed. And they're going to use fear to incorporate this via disaster capitalism. If you're not familiar with disaster capitalism, that's when the government and venture capitalists utilize some disaster, some catastrophe, whatever it may be, whether it's a wildfire, hurricane, tornado, flood, war, whatever, to capitalize. No disaster should not go uncapitalized. And that's how they work. So it is my opinion, my opinion, okay? This is coming from me. It's nobody else. I'm sure there are people who have similar views, but this is my view, okay? That the 2016 to 2020 Trump administration, the 2020 to 2024 Biden administration, and the next Trump administration, which we're in now, have just been seamless. I would even go far back to say is, probably, I'd say to Reagan. Because we had Reagan, we had Bush as our vice president. We did 8 years of Reagan. We did 4 years of Bush. We did 8 years of Clinton. We did 8 years of Bush. We did 8 years of Obama. We did 4 of Trump, 4 of Biden. Now we're into 4 more of Trump. Sounds like a dynasty to me. Because we know that the Clintons and Bushes, they're business partners. They're narco traffickers, in my opinion, allegedly. We're not even going to dive over into the other aspect of trafficking that they may or may not be involved with, right? So, if you go back and look at Trump's first term, you'll find out that he was already dabbling with AI. Absolutely. He did, I think, 2 or 3 executive orders concerning AI. So they were already looking at it then. I'm sure he was being pressured by, some of these entities, whoever they are. And I'm pretty sure that when Elon Musk buddied up to Trump before the election, Elon was there for a reason. He wanted to be the alpha AI. He funded ChatGPT, OpenAI, with Sam Altman, and then decided, I'm just going to compete against you because you're not doing what I want you to do. But you see these 3 top people, 4 with Bezos, okay, over on Amazon. They're all competing. This is a competition. And there's no rules. There's no terms and conditions. This is an all-out war to become the alpha AI. So whoever has the alpha AI that's adopted is the New World Order. They will be a demigod, folks. Trust me on this. They will control everything. I'm going to play some more of this video, and you're going to hear, okay, you're going to hear some people say that Trump is being controlled. He's being operated. So at the very beginning of the video that I played, you heard Trump say, hey, I can settle this Ukraine-Russia war in a day. All I got to do is pick up the phone, call Zelensky, got a good report of him, call my boy Putin, rooting for Putin, and get him to acquiesce, and man, we'll have this all wrapped up, put a bow on it, and present it to the world, right? Well, that didn't quite happen, did it? Apparently, Trump has flip-flopped. Yeah. You remember that back when John Kerry flip-flopped and it was a big deal and he probably lost the election behind flip-flopping? Well, Trump's not up for another election in 2028, so does he really give a crap? No. Is he being controlled? You bet your ass he's being controlled. I've told you, folks, we've been sold out. You don't have to believe me. You're more than welcome to stay over in the QAnon and Q and all those posts and believe you can trust the plan. Because roughly a year ago, Trump said he would stop the Ukraine-Russia war. But we're fixing to find out exactly what he wants to do now and who all he wants to involve. And excuse me. And remember, folks, this is your peace president, okay? This is the guy that was going to come save the world and create peace, settle all matters, right? So we could go into the Great Reset, the Great Jubilee, the golden era. How golden is your bank account? How golden are your assets? Right? I'm not seeing it. I hear about people are not drinking alcohol. It's the lowest rate ever in the history of the United States of people consuming alcohol. Generally, when times are bad, people go to drink. But there's a whole new generation evolving with these young kids that just, they're different from us. And I told you, the kids born in 2020 and on, they will be 100% digital children. They're not going to know how to drive cars because they'll be self-driving cars. They won't know how to cook because there'll be 3D food printers. Yeah, absolutely. Won't have to worry about, commerce or finances because everything will be digital. There'll be a new world order. Won't have to worry about religion because there'll be a one world religion, be a one world government. Everything will be controlled by AI. You won't be able to do anything without being vetted via AI. And I'm going to show you some more of this. Hey, Catherine, welcome to the show. Believe, be-live-y. Trust the lie. Well, it is what it is. So, again, let's take a look at who really controls mainstream media. Who's controlling your narrative? Who controls what you see or hear or read or watch? We already know this clown right here at number 3, Mark Zuckerberg, still to this day is suppressing free speech. But yet, who was sitting on the right side of Trump at the AI dinner? Mark Zuckerberg. Who was sitting on the left side of Melania? Bill Gates. If that didn't wake your ass up, nothing's going to wake your ass up. What can we do about it? Good question, right? Well, let's just go look at the evidence.
You could end this Ukrainian-Russia war in 24 hours.
Yeah.
How?
So I know Zelensky very well because he was very honorable with the fake phone call, impeachment hoax #1. They said I made a phone call to him and I was very threatening. I wasn't at all. I was actually.
Let me get up here a little bit. There's my
What his assessment is and what do you...
And back. Yep.
On to Ukraine, because huge issue, and it's being perceived, I don't know how you perceive it, I'd be interested in your reaction, that Trump has made a dramatic switch from, remember, in the Oval Office telling Zelensky in front of the world that you have no cards, you need to negotiate, you need to call a ceasefire, you have no cards, to here saying that, yes, I actually think that with EU, NATO help, you can actually win back your territory. First, do you agree with what his assessment is, and what do you attribute his shift to?
Well, we're convinced and are convinced that Ukraine's fight is not only for Ukraine's independence and sovereignty, but it's a question for the global order and the respect for the Charter, the sovereignty and territorial integrity of countries. Second, we have been working very hard to support Ukraine, but also to show that there's a strong coalition of the willing, making sure that once peace is there, we are able to give the security guarantees to Ukraine it needs. And the third point is most important. It took a while, but the evidence is overwhelming to show to President Trump that President Putin is the predator, that he does not want peace, and that we have to be very clear that the international rules have to be respected. And this is what you heard then yesterday.
I heard it from the president yesterday, you're right. And he said, Putin has really disappointed me. I thought, as he said many times, I could fix this war because of my relationship with Putin. I didn't realize that that wasn't going to be the case. But my question to you is, do you think this signals a ramping up of EU, NATO aid to Ukraine for the purpose of what Trump said, that they can win back their territory? Do you think that is what the aim is now? What is the aim for Ukraine?
So what the United States do is their decision. But the European Union has always been crystal clear that we're going to support Ukraine in what it needs. So far, 175 billion have been invested in Ukraine's defense, but also economic survival. And we will stay the course. We will be ironclad by the side of Ukraine. And that is also giving them the military capabilities they need to defend their country.
But what is your...
38 minutes now after the hour. Breaking news. This happening just moments ago. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky announcing a $90 billion arms deal with the United States. That deal allegedly includes long-range weapons and drones. This as, of course, Russia's Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov addressed the UN General Assembly today. Stephanie Bennett live with more. We talked last hour, Stephanie, that things are changing moment by moment, and it appears that indeed is the case.
Yeah, hey, Kevin, it's one of those days, another busy day where things change by the minute almost. Now, Lavrov, he wrapped up about an hour ago. We're going to dive into that. He took aim at NATO and also the EU. He said Russia has been and remains open to negotiations on eliminating the root causes of the conflict, but Russia's security and vital interests must be reliably agreed. He also spoke on those accusations against Russia of planning to attack NATO countries after many have accused Moscow of violating their airspace with jets and drones in recent weeks, which the Kremlin has denied.
Russia is being accused of almost planning to attack the North Atlantic Alliance and the European Union countries. President Putin has repeatedly debunked these provocations. Russia has never had and does not have any such intentions. However, any aggression against my country will be met with a decisive response.
And earlier this week, President Donald Trump announced a major shift, writing on Truth Social that he thinks Ukraine, with the support of the European Union, is in a position to fight and win all of Ukraine back in its original form, essentially retaking its territory that Russia has occupied. The president also expressed his disappointment in Putin for prolonging the war and that it's time to stop.
I'm very dissatisfied with what Russia's doing and what President Putin is doing. I haven't liked it at all. He's killing people for no reason whatsoever.
President Zelensky this afternoon wrote on X that America stands with Ukraine and we feel it. We thank the people of the United States, President Donald Trump, the First Lady Melania Trump, for their attention to Ukrainians, to our children, to our people. We stand together, he said, and that means life will be protected and peace and security will be closer. But these back and forth attacks, they do continue. Russia launched 115 drones across Ukraine, targeting several regions, including the Zaporizhia region. 97 were neutralized, according to Ukraine's Air Force. Zelensky, as you said, also announced today a $90 billion arms agreement with the U.S. and a separate drone deal for Ukrainian-made drones that the U.S. will purchase. He also disclosed that an Israeli Patriot air defense system has been operating in Ukraine for the past month. 2 more are expected to arrive in the fall. Now, meanwhile, Ukrainian drones, they hit oil pumping stations deep inside Russia. Allegedly, they were more than 700 miles from the border with Ukraine. So a lot going on, Kevin.
Well, you're not kidding.
I mean, Bibi's running around. This is a fact. I'm not guessing about this because I talked to people who said it to. Is running around the Middle East, his region, and his own country, and telling people point blank, just stating it, I control the United States. I control Donald Trump. He's saying that. And again, I'm not guessing at all. That's a fact. And I dare them to say that's not true.
I just said this at another meeting, and they said, oh, Israel is isolated. Israel can't break out of the siege. No, I said we will. Some of them have stopped weapon component shipments. Can we get out of this? Yes, we can. We're pretty good at producing weapons. Like intelligence, we share both with the United States. A good chunk of your intel. And our weapon systems, we share with the United States. We're tremendously appreciative of the bipartisan support in military matters to Israel in previous years and today as well. But do you have cell phones? You have cell phones here? No? You're holding a piece of Israel right there. You know that? I mean, a lot of the cell phones, the medicines, the food, you eat cherry tomatoes. You know where that was made? I don't like cherry tomatoes, but it's an Israeli. What can I do? It's an Israeli product, as are so many other things. And I think this serves the betterment for the betterment of all mankind and womankind. I think that is Israel's unknown contribution. But we can make things, we can produce things, We cherish the fact that we have the constancy of American support despite the attempts to erode it.
Transmitting that. The police will be on their best behavior because we're constantly recording, watching and recording everything that's going on. Citizens will be on their best behavior because we're constantly recording and reporting everything that's going on.
When you come to government and what government's doing, there are artificial intelligence tools, and some of them I know that Oracle have developed around financial management for government, but also tell us a bit about what, because you're right at the forefront of this revolution, what it means for what government should do in terms of its digital infrastructure, digital ID, data centers, and so on.
How do you take advantage of these incredible AI models? And the first thing a country needs to do is to unify all of their data so it can be consumed and used by the AI model. You have to take all of your healthcare data, your diagnostic data, your electronic health records, your genomic data. And in the Middle East, in the UAE, for example, they're incredibly rich in data. They have a lot of population data. The NHS in the UK has an incredible amount of population data, but it's fragmented. It's not easily accessible by these AI models. We have to take all of this data we have in our country and move it into a single, if you will, unified data platform. So we provide context. When we want to ask a question, we've provided that AI model with all the data they need to understand our country. So that's the big step. That's kind of the missing link. We need to unify all of the national data, put it into a database where it's easily consumable by the AI model, and then ask whatever question you like.
So you're really, through the use of this, you're revolutionizing the way government works, right? The services it provides, the way that it operates. What about things like financial management, procurement? How can AI help a government operate more efficiently, more effectively, give a more direct and better service to the citizen?
Well, we have these modern financial systems. So, countries can, and all. So for example, the AI system will help you do that. But again, the secret is to get all of that data in one place. Without having the basic data, it cannot answer the question about your country. I think countries are very uncomfortable with keeping their data in other countries' data centers. So I think part of our essential infrastructure, just like airports obviously need to be in our country, or they're not terribly useful. Ports need to be in our country, and they're not terribly useful. Data centers, because of the privacy requirements around the data, need to be in our countries, or they're not terribly useful. They need to be in our countries, but they also need to be secure. And there are new technologies right now. This is the last year you will ever log on to an Oracle system with a password. Next, by the middle of this year, well, how do I'm quite certain you are Tony Blair. So how do I know? Well, I look at you, I hear your voice, I listen to the kind of questions you ask. I'm pretty sure you're not synthetically created in having this conversation. The security system, we have biometric logins. The computer recognizes you. It recognizes your voice. It might ask you to put your index finger on the return key. And we know, we're absolutely certain it's you. There's no reason to enter a password. In fact, passwords are too easily stolen. Data centers and data is being taken hostage all over the world. The ransomware business is a very, very good business. It's getting bigger and better every year. We tend not to talk about it because the American FBI has a simple advice to someone whose data has been ransomed. Just pay them because there's nothing we can do about it. But there is something we can do about it, not after the data is stolen, but before the data is stolen. We can make sure that we're using the latest security technology, and it is going to be biometrics. assisted by AI to make sure that you are, in fact, Tony Blair, and I'm sure you are. Now, I would love to have lived to be 150 years old.
Well, there's an amazing opportunity to reimagine the state, the way that government functions, and the service that it can provide for its citizens.
Well, Fox is getting a first-hand look at the Stargate data center. It's in Abilene, Texas. Now, that's part of the massive $500 billion project led by OpenAI, Oracle, and SoftBank. Madison Allworth is there for us. Madison, how's it coming along?
Good morning, Stuart. It's huge and it's very busy. This is this first Stargate data center. They have part of it open, part of it is still under construction. And my team is one of the first group of journalists to actually get inside this data center since its opening, not only on site, but we're going to get a tour as well. This is huge. It is really locked down. I can't explain just how much security there is because this is tons of proprietary data. And all of this is the backbone of AI and OpenAI's infrastructure. So this tour really could not be coming at a better time. NVIDIA just announced that they're investing $100 billion into OpenAI. The strategic partnership is going to help OpenAI to get to its goal of deploying 10 gigawatts of AI data center capacity. That's part of their Stargate commitment. It also gives the artificial intelligence company money to buy more NVIDIA products. When you think about it, they need the chips and the chips need OpenAI. They're going to be spending upwards of $100 billion on those NVIDIA chips. But I was able to talk to Sarah Fryer. She's the CFO of OpenAI just before we went to air. She said, yes, some of the money will be going to the chips, but money will also be going to researchers. We've talked about those AI talent wars. So some of it will be going there. Some of it will just be operational, whatever investments are needed. She says that NVIDIA will be investing at $10 billion at a time until they get to that $100 billion price point. All of this is a ton of money going towards that ultimate goal of U.S. dominance in AI. And it all relates back to this administration. President Trump announced Stargate back in January, right after taking office. The project includes this $500 billion commitment in AI infrastructure over the next 4 years here in the U.S. with that goal of U.S. dominance in this space. And what's so exciting, Stu, is to see this up and running. This is just the first Stargate data center. The goal is to have at least 20 of these across the U.S. And we're going to get to talk about that and ask CEO Sam Altman. After the tour, I'm going to be sitting down with him. We'll talk to him about this NVIDIA deal, about the other data centers, what's to come, and more. All of that's happening this afternoon. First team on the ground here, and it is an incredible site. There's a lot of red clay and a lot of workers. It's open, but lots more work to be done, Stu.
A senior White House official says Oracle will control TikTok's algorithm for U.S. users after the sale is completed. And that detail had been one of the big outstanding questions as the White House pushes ahead to finalize a TikTok deal. If completed, the deal will transfer control of TikTok's U.S. operations to a new joint venture based in the U.S. The investors will include Oracle and the private equity firm Silver Lake. Over the weekend, President Trump said Michael Dell and Rupert and Lachlan Murdoch may also be a part of the new ownership group.
All right. Sorry about all the technical difficulties. It's not me. It's either StreamYard or Wi-Fi or Brave, one of those. So what it does, it's hanging me up. So it jilts over here on your side, on my side, it's freezing up, and then I go click on something, and yeah, it doesn't even work. So I'm waiting on Buffy to join me to have a little discussion, but I wonder what your thoughts are on Trump's flip-flopping on the Russia-Ukraine war, where we're going with AI, all these megalomaniac approaching trillionaires. Who did you ever think in your lifetime that there would be a trillionaire? We are close. Very close. How you doing, Buffy? You're muted. Nope. Time's up. Your mic's hot over here. Nope. 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 Well, she's going to reload. But you know, they've told you to trust the plan. I've yet to have anybody send me what the plan is. Generally, when you have a plan, it's from like, okay, this is our goal, and this is our steps to accomplish that goal. Blind Owl, I'm going to pop your bubble. That was artificially intelligently created. It is bullshit. It was posted on Truth Social, and Trump took it down because it was bullshit. It was 100% AI created. I had to say a prayer, okay? I cannot tell you how many people I talk to that get duped by AI already. And AI is not very good at recreating reality. But it's good enough to get by a lot of people now. Now, let me break this off to you folks, because, you know, I cover a variety of topics and categories here. I've lost a lot of my audience because of that. Because I go down these rabbit holes and I find out, oh, you know, this is dumb. This is stupid. This isn't reality. And yet people continue to, you know, stay in that rabbit hole. They don't want to come out. I don't know why. But when it comes to med beds, okay, and let me show you. Let me show you, folks. Let me get down. Hang on, Buffy, I'll get with you in just a second. I know you're backstage. What's it say? Jason Shurka, right? Dear Fearless Floyd, join me today at 2 p.m. Eastern, one of the most powerful ever done with my friend, Jason Shurka. They're going to cover cultivating sexual energy and sacred lovemaking, urine therapy and stem cell regeneration, ancient Taoist longevity secrets, biophotonic gold and the philosopher's stone, and the hidden alchemy, the transhumanism agenda threatening humanity right now. You don't want to miss this conversation. It's packed with knowledge and solutions you won't hear anywhere else. If you're not familiar with Dr. Ed Group, please go check him out, globalhealinginstitute.org, globalhealing.com, drgroup.com. So you're very familiar with, if you're not familiar with Jason Shurka, Jason Shurka was the one who was promoting the EE systems, EE systems. I've done the EE systems, okay? I went and paid big bucks to do 2 sessions, full sessions, for I think it was 4 hours each over a 2-day period. I went with myself, a friend, and her dog, who was suffering from diabetes and other ailments, cataracts, going blind, et cetera, et cetera. So it wasn't so much me and her going in for rejuvenation, therapy, treatment, whatever you want to call it. It was for the dog. Sadly, the dog passed away 3 months later. I actually talked to Ed about that. Hey, dude, I went and did the EE systems and nothing. Well, it's all about intention. Well, she loved that dog. So I'm pretty sure she had all the intentions in the world to heal that dog, make it better. And it didn't work. Now, is that a testament on the system? Listen, I don't know. I've tried all kind of stuff. Biochargers, acupuncture, man, you name it. I've done it. And that's what I try to do when I go down these rabbit holes. I can't make people listen. I can't make people watch my videos. All I can do is present the evidence. You make your own conclusions, your own decisions about what you want to do. Now, med beds. Are they real? Maybe. I don't know. Have I ever seen one physically? No. Do I think I would be in touch with the people that would have the ability to see one or know of their existence? Probably. And more likely than not, they don't exist. The problem with these narratives that people post about, oh, we're going through 10 days of darkness and the great jubilees right down the road and, this and this, the med beds are coming out and everybody's going to get a med bed card. Bull fucking shit. Stop with the fucking madness. What these people are doing is they're creating their own fantasy. They're putting it in AI. AI is creating a video, and then they go post it as reality. And you folks are getting hooked on the hopium. If you're living your life waiting on a med bed, stop. If you're waiting your life waiting on the RV, stop. If you're living your life waiting on the next big thing, Anna Von Reitz and her fucking Federation dollars, stop. And let me caveat that statement with this. All you people over in Anna's assemblies and Destry's assemblies and all these other assemblies, I don't have a problem with your ideation. I don't have a problem with your goals. I don't have a problem with your dogma. What I have a problem with is your leaders or leader, who is taking you in a dark cave. There's no light at the end of the tunnel. You're going nowhere. You've trapped yourself. Get rid of your fucking leaders, self-assimilate, self-govern, and join other assemblies and have a voice, a political voice in your community. If you continue to hide in these Facebook groups and Telegram groups and firewall groups through internet, and you only meet on certain days, and you can only get in if you have a link, so you're on the fringe of society, stop. You need to acclimate into society. You need to let society who you are, what you're all about. AI is coming, folks. You're going to have to be registered with AI, with the government. You're going to have a digital ID. Don't think it's not coming. Vietnam closed a whole shit ton of bank accounts because those people would not get a digital ID. If you want to work in the United Kingdom, guess what you got to have? A digital ID. Yeah. Where free speech is no longer free. It comes with a penalty, fines, and fees. That's coming to America, folks. New York just got surrendered Eric Adams, current mayor, conservative, former police chief, threw in the towel, waved the white flag. I surrender. I'm done. I'm out of here. So who's the leading mayor candidate in New York City? Buffy, you ready?
Hey,
How you doing,
we
girl,
sure are
girl?
going to digital ID, that's for sure. This is
Yeah.
our initiation. We are going through a huge initiation. And
I don't know if it's an initiation because these people don't even realize they're being initiated.
oh yeah, it is initiation. Most people don't realize they are being initiated. And I think that's what the lockstep was all about, was we're gradually being lockstepped into an informational age, right? We're being lockstep into a revealing of information, and it's not coming out all at once, and it's not coming out from one source. From what I can tell, is it's coming from all these other sources, all these little YouTube content creators, these TikTok content creators, that have been employed to see this thing through, to let people know what's going on. And I know when I got with Melanie, she just busted everything out to me, and I'm like, this is so far-fetched.
Describe who Melanie
far-fetched.
is for the audience.
Oh, sorry, Melanie Breres, who was working with Michelle Gibson on Michelle Gibson's channel, and I think they broke up. I don't know. But Melanie Breres was I don't know who she was or what exactly she was. She said she at one time worked with the FBI. She knew a lot of stuff that maybe people shouldn't know, like how much child organs are worth on the black market. So a lot of things that she told me, that she was grooming me. She was teaching me and grooming me. She let me know what these cults do, and it's all narcissistic training. So when she told me about AI, and going back to the AI stuff, was that we will be self-governed through AI. Self-governed through AI.
Define self-governance.
Self-governance means, well, I mean, you have to go by the letter of the law, or, I mean, the surveillance systems will, I mean, it's like Judge Dredd, the movie Judge Dredd. That's kind of where we're going to, in a way. To where, I mean, and it says it in the Bible that you won't be able to do any business, basically, any commerce, any type of living without the mark of the system. The beast is the system, right? And I've been digging deep, into what Charles King has to say about all these rituals, because these are rites of passage and initiation that goes back thousands and thousands of years through these different cults, CULT. So Revelations is a rite of passage initiation, is the grand finale initiation, right? Mm-hmm. To reset everything, to make it kind of more even and more balanced. And those that are pushing, that have been in charge of making sure that these initiations throughout the centuries happen, this is, is AI ancient tech? I have no idea. I don't even know if we would ever be able to know that. But that is, this AI invention has come from, and the internet as well, has come from mapping the brain and testing on humanity, basically, for hundreds, if not thousands of years. This is tech that has been refined over and over and over again.
Right. Alan Turing, I believe, was the creator of AI, and he created it. I want to say, it's going to sound crazy. 1955, which is eight years after 1947. A lot of people don't realize that 1947 was a pivotal year in the world, if not definitely the United States. But right here, it tells you in 1955, an organizing Seminole Dartmouth Conference in 56 formally established AI as a field of study. That was John McCarthy.
And they could not do any of this without programs like MK Ultra and the stemmings from that.
Correct.
There's no way they could have done this. And I've been digging so deep, Floyd. I'm like, what the hell is going on? So I think it goes back to ancient Egypt. Yeah, because
it goes
the
beyond
splitting of the mind was once only, like they only had to do it to one, which was the king, who was supposed to fall in line as a god, as the pharaoh, right? King and pharaoh is the same thing. So the pharaoh was the full embodiment of the deity. But in order for you to be able to make these decisions and act accordingly, I don't know how it all come about, but they had to split the mind, fracture the mind into like a honeycomb, right? So we have one who is a master, say he's a master architect, so he would know exactly what to build and how to build it to raise God consciousness on the planet. But another personality needs to be incorporated, because we don't want a leader that is strictly structure. We also want him to have beauty with the structure. So you're just adding in all these specialized personalities, right? So one personality is, the master of 17 languages, and another personality is a master of, say, 20 instruments. To where if you go on stage, right, because you're basically giving a performance to the audience, to the masses, because you want cohesion, cooperation, you want to keep control of them, we're going to have to show them the appointed God is a master of all these things. That is where you get the 12 labors of Hercules. And I believe, with an educated guess, that through the zodiac signs, whatever sign was in the sun at the time would dictate what type of initiation it was time for.
Okay.
So, they're all about timing, keeping up with timing, and when to start initiations. It's all about preparation too.
What does that look like for you? What are you seeing out there on the horizon that facilitates that?
Well, it's compliance. They need compliance. Who will take the initiation in ancient days are the ones that were ready to be incorporated, per se, to be brainwashed, per se, to be within the hive mind. So you're talking about basic cult dynamics, basic narcissism as well. So there's a lot of psychological play that is involved through initiations. Yep. Because what it is they think, well, if you have it too easy, you become stagnant, and that you need hardship, you need pressure, you need outside pressure in order to basically squeeze blood from a turnip. Apply enough pressure, things will either break or become stronger. Humans can either break and break and break and break. They do know how to break people and build them up. When you talk about caves, you can go to Plato's cave, and if you've studied anything on MK Ultra, go back and read the full Republic in Plato's cave. That is very much brainwashing. It's very much controlling narrative, controlling environment.
Well, we already
controlling
know.
Perception.
Right. We already know statistically that 270 million people went and stood in line for an experimental substance, and then 240 million more went back for seconds, thirds, fourths, and sloppy sixths. So we already know that those people are compromised. They'll do anything. They'll bend over. So that leaves very few of us, I don't know how many millions, hundreds of thousands, who are enlightened enough to see through the veil of what I call suppressed facts, what most people would say conspiracy theories.
Right.
Because it seems to be that the conspiracy theories always tend to come out to be conspiracy true stories.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oddly enough.
Right.
Yeah, we're right all along. Now, let me ask you this, because I'm sure you peruse a lot of social media and other influencers out there. And I see a lot of these people who just kind of blow up overnight and get just, tens of thousands of followers, subscribers, or videos, just do stupid numbers. And I have to ask myself why, when, they're definitely not being 100% honest with their audience. And I think some of them are paid shills, that they're being paid to do this or being sponsored, promote them, some of them unknowingly.
Right. Yeah. There's this one guy. His name's Gray. I would have to get on X to get his full name. But he says he's an ex-programmer. And I follow his X account, and he says, you are an asset. A lot of people, you're an asset and you don't even know that you're an asset, right? By every like or every share or whatever, like, you become an asset to agendas. And on social media, like, that totally blew up, right? When Trump won through meme wars. And that's what I learned in being in this cult, is meme wars. So I was pretty sheltered. I mean, even after Melanie, if Melanie had told me about Kiwi Farms and 4chan, I probably would have sort of figured out maybe what she was about or where she was from. I didn't know anything about 4chan. I didn't know anything about Kiwi Farms. I didn't know what doxing was or anything.
What's Kiwi Farms?
Right. So you Google it. Oh, that's a whole show within itself. Yeah. So Kiwi Farms is basically a platform. Like, they've tried to take it down. It's come back up. It's a Hydra. So Kiwi Farms is basically a huddle house where just the evilest of trolls can hang out and talk about people to dox, SWAT, torment online. I mean,
wow.
Yeah. So there was a lot of hints dropped in my face that told me basically who I was dealing with. That kind of hit me full force, and I was like, whew, because we don't have informed consent at all. And they think that, while those that have ears to hear and eyes to see, you're going to get the message. And the overall message is, it's all fucking smoke and mirrors, bread and circus. And it goes back to ancient Greek times in the theater. Or they could get you convinced. Do you know what they did in the theater?
Do I know what they did in the theater?
Yeah.
There were
Well,
no
they spiked.
women. I know there were no women in the theater. I know it was all men playing both roles.
Right. Right. They spiked the punch and they got you high on the hog. And when you are open, you are easily programmed. You are so easily programmed. So when you smoke that joint and you go into the movie theater, you are so easily programmed. It's like with Hillman, Almond Hillman, that's what he did. Get on your throne, sit on your throne, turn it up. He's telling them to go on a substance and he's telling them, look at my pictures, listen to my words, you know. So I haven't quite figured out what the deal is there. Are we grooming or are we trying to figure out who is here to preserve the innocence and who is not?
This
You know?
is
So
this is World War III, and this is a war between good and evil.
yes, it is. Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely. And I knew it was coming in 2020. In 2020, I got on TikTok and it's so weird. Like out of the blue, I got this message from this stranger that said, do not stop talking about what you see. You are to bear witness. That hit me like a ton of bricks.
Wow.
Who that person was in
What a
2020.
statement. What a statement. Wow.
Yeah. 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 So that's what I've been doing. I mean, I've been ostracized. I've lost a lot of friends. I've tripped up and got involved with some shady fucking people and situations. But, you know, survivors survive to help others figure out what's going on. And
Absolutely.
we're all being led through this massive initiation.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm almost at the point where I don't even want to participate in social media, is like interact with it, watch it, listen to it. I'm at the point now where I think I just want to cut it all off and go back to reading books.
I stay in books.
Yeah.
I stay in books. What I've started doing is with my mother-in-laws, I'm just doing morning tea, right? And we're just talking because people are seeking, people are hungry, and people don't understand really what's going on. And me and her are just talking because she's finally realizing that the things I've been talking about this whole time are true. And she's like, my mind's blown. I said, well, you know, your pockets are about to be blown because you should have listened to me in 2020 and let me start stalking, let me start gardening, just let me do my thing. I could have got us through. But no, we're dealing with people who I'm like, I get it now. I understand why we're considered useless eaters because so much waste, just needless waste, needless purchasing, excess. So, I mean, I get it. And I need to pull up that one Japanese professor because he was able to break things down to where,
Yeah,
do you know who
I've
I'm
watched.
talking about?
Oh yeah, you sent me that long video, but he's done that video and he's chopped it up into clips.
Yes, that whole series is so good. It is
That
so
guy
good.
Man, he's
Yeah,
way out
and
there.
I told EDM, I said he's high level initiate. Of course he is. He graduated from Yale. High level initiate. So we've got top down initiates lockstepping information to us as the initiation process progresses.
Yeah, they're
So
putting it out.
I'm just like, this is really crazy and exciting time to be alive if you kind of look at it that way and say, okay, I refuse to accept any of this negative shit that's thrown at me all the time because they want you in fear because you're more what is it? Not a monetary worth, but you're basically worth more to them unalived, right? Like that's the agenda. We know that there's, a pop control and everything else. So, but it's I really am very hopeful because of what I'm seeing. I'm really seeing there's too many people that are awake for them.
Define too many. Define too many.
Too many. Too many. The majority rules, and the majority of the Western civilization is awake.
I would hope that's
Because
true.
look, Floyd, women are waking up in the droves saying, I don't have, they're learning their worth, right? And men are starting to get ruffled, right? And men are starting to wake up. It took EDM forever to realize that what he took is just normal dude stuff was actually a form of abuse, and especially like financial and financial abuse and emotional manipulation. So we went over an article, I think yesterday morning, about how Kentucky in 2016 changed the law to where 50-50 split, hands down in divorce, 50-50 split, regardless, unless it can be proven without a shadow of a doubt that the other parent is abusive. So what's that done? Now, earlier this year, an article come out where it's saying that it's causing women to stay in abusive relationships because they'd rather stay in abusive relationships than to leave and give that person half custody rights. So they're figuring out ways to maneuver the law to gain consent. Right? You see how that coercion is happening. Yeah.
Right.
And yeah. And they're not going to have men fighting any war if the man is not promised a certain amount of things. Like in past wars, they were promised, and especially in ancient wars, they were promised women, land, drugs and alcohol, food, right? But mainly women, right? And then who is the first to go during a wartime? The children and the women. So, but what is going on? And I know I'm all over the place. Well, I'm unmedicated ADHD, but what's going on over there is it's Zionism. It's very much connected to Christian Zionism. It's very much connected to
Where's over there?
Oh, the war zone over Gaza and everywhere.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Right. So, yeah, they believe. I mean, you can look up Sabbatai Zebi from 1666. They believe that if they sin enough, and what is the most atrocious sin? The destruction of innocence. So they believe if they do it enough, they're going to bring God back. So that's one of the goals. Like, we got to get God back. And I'm like, do you have proof, that this is even plausible? They've been trying to do it since 1666. And when that human passed, he had over 1 million followers. So you can go ahead and shoot the messenger, but the messenger just hands the mission basically off to someone else.
who is the person with the 1 million followers?
So you're wanting to look up Sabotage Zebi. I would probably have to look him up for you because the spelling's really weird. But he was a Jewish rabbi from 1666.
Oh, wow. Can't imagine what he had to say. Let me ask you this while you're looking. Do you think, based on what they call UPAs, out of place artifacts, like when they find, especially with you in the Appalachia over in Tennessee with the coal mines, I'm sure you've seen chunks of coal that have current types of technology in them, i.e., coiled spiral metal shavings, the frog that they found in there. They recently just found this little some kind of pouring dish made out of metal that had lips on each side of it. They just found that. So looking at all these videos, all of the ancient sites that have all this technology that we can't even emulate it today. And they're saying that this is tens of thousands of years old. Some of these items are millions of years old. Could it be that the methodology that we have been led to believe to date ancient artifacts, i.e. carbon dating, is purposely a fallacy, that really this timeline that they're creating for us to believe that are just millions of years old is actually not millions of years old, but probably a lot less, and that our concept of time for real reality has been altered and we're not even in a real reality of time.
Yeah. Because it's always been smoke and mirrors to get us through, to control the masses. Always. And it only takes 2 generations to make a lie the truth.
Right. If it's repeated.
So I think it's completely possible.
Oh, yeah, it's absolutely possible.
And I mean, okay, one thing, a lot of things Melanie taught me was invaluable. One of them is that books are thought prisons. They're absolute thought prisons. She knew so much. She knew about the parasites. She knew that it went back to ancient Egypt. And it's all orchestrated. What they did is they took the ability for one person to do a plant substance and see the divine, and then they brought it and they turned it into a religion. When you go through it, that's deeply personal. It's only for you. Like, you maybe shouldn't even tell people about it, because look what Sabotage Zebi did. He just planted the seed. We're talking about little seed planters of thoughts. And if you take books, that is somebody else's concept of somebody else's concept of somebody else's concept. And it just grows from there. And you're dealing with a thought form or egregore, which gives energetic power over a group of people, like Santa Claus does over children. So it just takes like one little message, one little seed drop. And I've dropped in private chat the wiki link to Sabotage Zebi and his concept of bringing God back. He's not too popular with most Jewish people I know that know about him. There was for a long time active force for, just the information not to be available.
Wow.
Oh yeah, this is so deep. I mean, they've had thousands of years.
Oh,
You know, and maybe at one time it was used for good. It was used to, let's throw some drugs in the mix and we'll have orgies and cohesiveness and bonding and people will trust each other, and everything. But you are dealing with psychometry, not psychometry, psychology after the great flood of Noah,
I did
which has
all
been
that.
reported all over the world.
Yeah, I did all that except for the flood part, but yeah, it didn't turn out well.
So you've got after flood trauma, generational trauma that just keeps going and going and going. I mean, let's think about it. We are not, I don't know how many people have talked about the damage of generational trauma from the lockdown.
And then to, top that off, I don't know how many people were tuned in to watch the alleged Trump assassination. And then we got to see the whole Charlie Kirk event. And, that's probably a whole bunch of different shows. That's just a big red flag to me. The whole thing is just.
It is a huge flag. I would love to, I could dig into it, on the occult level, but everybody else is doing it. And it's a lot of stuff coming out. And everybody's like, just follow the money, follow the money. And what I'm saying is like this lockstep too. It's like the evildoers are setting themselves up to be caught. It just seems like it.
Well, they have to put it out there. They can't hide it. They have to put it on Front Street. So that's what they're doing. But the whole issue is accountability, and the entities within their own government, I'll just use that as a big umbrella term, are failing to do their duty to hold these people accountable. So it falls back on us as the governed to hold them accountable. The problem is nobody wants to come out and hold them accountable. And if they do, we're so divided in our attempts to hold them accountable that we can't assimilate and be one big, powerful voice. And I keep harping on this, that we have to really come together. We have to assimilate. We have to put all those firewalls, egos, monetary, you guys just really don't even know what I sacrifice every day, to do this show, to learn more, to give you more advice, to watch these videos, to put all these dots together and tell you, hey, this is what's coming, folks. If you're not prepared, you're not ready, and you haven't prepared yourself, you're going to get steamrolled. You're going to get assimilated into it, and you're going to have zero rights. Zero rights. You're going to have no voice. Because believe me, government does not surrender its authority and power. Once it accumulates that, it very rarely, if ever, relinquishes that authority and power.
Yeah, once you lose a liberty,
that's a wrap.
It's hard to get it back. It's really, really hard to get it back. And now it's like they're trying to unend it. I'm like, what is going on? There's all these wars going on at once. We have a sex war. We have a race war. We have a class war. We have a religious, spiritual war. Political. I mean, it's just the war to probably end all wars is what they're going for. And they're trying to get us to where we're self-governed, as well as disrupt us enough to fight for what we know is right in America, which is to stand on that Constitution.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And all these hundreds of thousands, if not millions of laws that are in these law books, all that's got to go. All that's got to go. Get rid of all these
Yeah.
judge-made laws, judge-made decisions, rules, procedures. The entire,
Right.
the
Right.
entire, golly, the entire geopolitical economic system within the United States has to collapse, and it has to be rebuilt from the ground up. Because the current system that we use for education, judicial, economics, finance, banking, it's all garbage. It's all built so they can make the profit. And we're not part of it. And we're not going to be a part of it until we create our own part to be a part of it.
I know. And that's what Melanie was saying. Like she said, you have to be in the private because if you are in the public, you're not going to make it. And that's what her ideas were solid, but she was just not. Well, she got one person that come before me, got her for about $10,000. So she was just not the person to do it. But that it was a model or a template that she was given or learned somewhere that other people were also doing somewhere. It's almost like they were released to go and start their own online cults. It's the craziest thing to me because they were so well trained. What is going on?
I don't know where I read it, but I saw this within the past week that sometimes people are brought into our lives to teach us a lesson, whether it's good or bad. And sometimes those people that are bad and have a bad effect, negative effect on our life, livelihood, whatever, that, if you don't learn the lesson and incorporate it into your future, that you're going to, of course, repeat it. But that's why they are there. That's why they're put into our lives. So I try to utilize, when I encounter all this, what's the lemonade? I got a bunch of lemons. How can I make lemonade out of this? What's the lesson to be learned, and how can I effectuate that? And how can I share that experience with other people so they don't go through those same pitfalls?
Right. Right. And that's all we're doing on the morning tea. Me and my mother-in-law, and we're just talking about shit we see. She's a generation above me, or before me. So it's really important too, I think, to give people's voice. And I hate to say go online more and or create your own channel or share what you know, but people need to hear other people's experiences too. And that brings cohesiveness, right? That builds a certain amount of trust, and you can only get so far online as far as trust goes. But we're going to start having panels and hopefully building some form. I don't know that I want to have a private membership association, but I can only imagine that is supposed to be where you need to go, since everything everything else she said has come to pass.
Does that make sense? Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's part of the assimilation of the community. But the issue is that, if you're in your own little association that you can't interact or associate with this other private membership association, bullshit. Those are the ones you should be interacting with.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah.
With. Those are your friends.
Right.
Those
Exactly.
are your peers. Okay. Those
Right.
are your associates. They're not your enemies. And this is the issue with this fucking entire community, is these people want to be divisive. Hey, we're over in Anna's assembly and we can't over here with, this assembly, or
they get this cult mentality.
The jural assemblies. If you've been in one of these assemblies, you cannot ever be in one of these because you did this paperwork over here, which obviously we know you can rescind anything that you sign, contract, whatever, if it's done in bad faith. There you go. So that kills that bird. And this is the issue that I have with all these people who keep throwing up all these roadblocks. Listen, harmonize, folks. I'm telling you. If you don't harmonize, you don't interact with your fellow peer who has the same agenda you have. Okay? Y'all may have different beliefs, different realities, different societal effects. But the main point is you all know the same information and you all are trying to get to the same place. And that's to be private in the public, less governmental intrusion, to be able to self-government, and you don't want any crime and you want to live in happiness.
Yep. Yeah.
Because that's what
we
we're
have
guaranteed. Life,
yeah.
liberty, and happiness.
Yeah.
Are you happy,
And
folks?
we have to be able to self-govern.
Are you happy? Are you happy with your paycheck? Are you happy with your government? You're probably not. So we're not very happy. We're not a very happy society. We're having all these mass shootings everywhere. It's
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's getting.
You know what I suggested yesterday? You know what I said? Oh no, what was this morning? This morning, what I said was make it legal across the board. Give Australia their guns back, and the rest of the Western world, and the rest of the world. Because maybe if everybody's carrying a gun, people will, act like they've got some sense. And I'm like, make all the drugs legal too, and let God sort it out, right? Now, age of consent is completely different. They're trying to get that lowered. But as far as drugs go, make it all legal, legal age. Make it all legal and let God figure it out. Like, he'll work it out. It'll work out. It will work out.
I hope so, because they've done that experiment. They did it in Portland, and it didn't. Portland and Seattle legalized drugs? I know Portland.
Was it all of them?
That did not. Yeah, all of them. That did not work out well for them at all.
Right. Right.
Sadly, people.
Well, we have red light districts. That's what Melanie said.
People have to see a future for themselves. They have to have worth. And they have to have value, and they have to be able to have a trying to think of the term, not a fulfilling life. I'll think of it in a minute. A purpose-driven life. That's what I was looking for. That's out of the pasture, I believe, up in DFW. But you have to have a purpose in life. And if you don't have a purpose, you're not going to have any drive. If you don't have any drive, then you really don't have a future. You're just existing. And then again, you become a useless eater. You're just here. You're just existing. And this is kind of a dilemma that I'm going through is, where do I go? What do I do? Because I have a lot of opportunities on the table. And I just don't have enough time to seize upon all those opportunities. So I have to pick and choose what I want to do and how I want to do it, how I want to move. And I understand that, in this economy, not everybody can, make decisions like that.
Sorry about that. I got real bad choke.
That's all.
I'm with you though. Because we've been lax and lazy for far too long.
Yeah, and I don't know why people still trust Trump. They're still believing that he's going to come save the country and save the day. And if anything, the country is worse off now than it was in January. Seems like there's more mass shootings.
I missed the Trump of the last term.
Yeah, I think he got compromised somewhere down the line. You okay over there? Didn't mean to choke you up.
Well, what's happening is it's turning fall. So in the Appalachian,
getting pollen and stuff.
Yeah. So Blue Sky, I heard that he did adhere to the Noahide laws.
Blue Sky. What's Blue Sky?
This is right here in the chat. I'm still in as one of your managers too, so I can just pop in whenever I want and throw up, you know. But if you've never read like the Jesuit Oath, okay, so you've seen the Da Vinci Code, that blonde that will whip himself to death so he will be a good servant to his master. Yeah, that's Jesuit training right there.
Look where he's from. Turkey.
Yeah, he believed in redemption through sin. That's what it's called, redemption through sin.
Active throughout the Ottoman Empire, Zevi claimed to be the long-awaited Jewish Messiah and founded the Sabbatean movement. Central to his teachings was the belief that during the Messianic age, acts traditionally considered sinful would transform into righteous ones. Oh my God. And antinomian doctrine led Zevi and his followers to deliberately violate Jewish commandments, a controversial practice that later inspired movements like the Frankists. Wow. Upon arriving in Constantinople in February of 1666, Sabbatai was imprisoned on the order of the Grand Vizier. I can't even pronounce that. Koprilzadeh Fazil Ahmed Pasha in September of that same year, after being moved from different prisons around the capital to the imperial court seat in Adrianople, now Demi. He was judged on accusations of fomenting sedition. Sabbatai was given the choice of death or conversion to Islam by the Grand Vizier representing Sultan Mehmed IV. He chose conversion, donning an Islamic turban from then on. The heads of the Ottoman state then rewarded him with a generous pension for complying with their political and religious plans. About 300 families who followed Sevi also converted to Islam and became known as the Donmi, Turkish for converts. Subsequently, the Ottomans banished him twice, first within Constantinople, and when he was heard singing psalms with the Jews there, to a small town known as Ulcinj in what is now Montenegro. He died in isolation. Okay, there you go.
He didn't really convert, though. I mean, they never do. They never do. I found this one guy. He's got millions of followers. I was watching him on conspiracies. Why did it sign me out? I don't know why. I've got to look at my history. I was watching him last night. I just found him. And it's one journalist takes on 20 conspiracy theorists, and it's really good content. And it makes a lot of sense because it's like he tells you what is conspiracy fact. And I'm like, we're just being lockstep in the information, I swear. Because this is supposed to be the information age, right?
So they tell me.
Right. So, yeah. They're only going to let us have a little bit. I vie for starting a petition to get the Vatican to employ people to scan and release all the things in the vaults. That's what I want to see happen. That is our true history. And this one, hold on one second. I gotta make sure it doesn't play and blast your ears. Oh, it's so good. It's not loading right. Have you noticed that since AI has took over, there's a lot more glitches in the system?
Fucking horrible.
There's just a lot of glitches.
I'll be right back.
Here it is. Okay. So I'm going to paste this here, but I could actually show it to you all. Let me see. I have a screen share. So this guy, we're just going to play a little bit.
And wrong. I don't want there to be children being trafficked. It's probably the first time where you see like leftists and conservatives coming together to demand accountability from the government. Now, I got a legal demand letter with my name on it a couple days ago saying that we were going to be sued for $1 billion by the First Lady if we didn't retract that and issue a formal apology.
The solidified structure that we're standing on is the Earth, and the Antarctic ice wall is around it.
So what's past the ice wall?
Other civilizations.
Oh, shit.
Well, hey guys, what's up? This is Andrew Callahan from Channel 5. I'm here at Jubilee, and today I'm surrounded by 20 conspiracy theorists. First thing I want to say to you guys is I'm not here to make anybody look or feel stupid at all. I'm not some kind of like expert debunker. I think that every conspiracy theory has some thread of truth to it. So I'm hoping we can find some middle ground and become friends. All right, my first claim is QAnon is a baseless conspiracy theory. There's no evidence of a global cabal of Satan-worshiping, child trafficking elites that control everything.
I'm quicker than I look.
Man. Thanks for coming. I appreciate it.
My pleasure, man.
Yeah, man.
I'm a little quicker than I look.
Yeah.
So my issue is with the claim in and of itself, right? The fact that QAnon may be baseless then means that there is no child trafficking ring going on. That's akin to saying that the Easter Bunny is not real. Therefore, there was no conspiracy to hide Biden mental decline.
Before we proceed, there's definitely horrible child sex trafficking rings that exist in the U.S. Sure. I just think that pedophilia is a pervasive problem among all crests of society. I just think that the rich have an easier time covering it up because they can pay for lawyers and they have money to keep people quiet.
That in and of itself is a conspiracy that you just described.
Well, then I'm a conspiracy theorist,
I guess.
You know, I just don't think it's limited specifically to an unnamed anonymous class of baby-eating elites.
Well, let's say the NGOs that are unnamed, right? We have humans being trafficked in migrant camps going all across Mexico. Somebody pays for that, whether it's NGOs, whether it's the UN.
Yeah.
We have pedophile rings that we know have been exposed throughout the Catholic Church. It's hard to get more elite than the Vatican. Right. Then you have people that are hiding, obviously, what's going on with Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell. So the idea that because we don't know who the tip of the spear is, or that the cobra hasn't shown its head, means that there's no cabal behind the scenes. Somebody is coordinating this. Now, let me put it this way. I wish that there was as much scrutiny being applied to the evidence that we have and that we've presented than there is to the conspiracy theorists that are presenting the evidence, right?
Definitely.
Like a conspiracy theorist to me is a derogatory claim for people that don't trust establishment narrative, right? But the establishment has done everything they possibly can do to discredit themselves.
And I think that the establishment had a hand in creating QAnon. I think it's the sole biggest driving force and making all...
Careful, Andrew. That sounds like a conspiracy.
I'm just saying, it's like, if you think about this, right? Like, we know with the Epstein stuff, there were underage sex trafficking rings that existed, right? Now, think about this logical digression from that. And they're eating babies to get adrenochrome so they can be immortal. So think about how different
I hear you.
are.
And that's disproving the existence of one by continuing to... It's what we call searching for the falsehood, right? So something can't be true because 3 steps down the line, something is untrue.
I think
that doesn't mean the first thing is true. We can agree that there are children being trafficked.
Yes.
We can agree that it seems to be some sort of systemic, industrialized component to this child trafficking, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. So then somebody has to pay for that. Somebody has to organize that. Somebody with means, somebody that could be, I don't know, classified as an elite.
Yeah.
And that could be an elite child conspiracy, right? To traffic children.
Could be a cartel middleman with a bunch of money, man.
And listen, what I would say is this. What people that trust establishment, not that you're one of them, what I wish that they understood is that we agree with them in that I hope I'm wrong.
Right.
Like the establishment wants me to be wrong and I want me to be wrong. I don't want there to be children trafficked. And I don't want our government, our taxpayer dollars having anything to do with it. But I think that a conspiracy theorist used to be called an investigative journalist. We have questions. And I think that those questions deserve to be answered. And I think that that's the issue here. When people say, no, there's no list, stop asking questions, move on. Well, then we feel like we should ask some more questions.
Yeah, and I feel like that's got to be less than 10% of the population who says there's no list, let's move on.
Yeah,
I think right now it's probably the first time where you see like leftists and conservatives coming together to demand accountability from the government.
No doubt about it.
And I think that QAnon was probably a psyop in of itself by Steve Bannon, Miles Kuo, a variety of strange actors that work with the Watkins family and HN to basically discredit people from actually putting the target where it should have been, which is right in front of our faces. The richest people in the world, most of them you can look their name up. Not saying there isn't people who are just random rich financiers that are anonymous, but we can see, you can look at companies like BlackRock, Vanguard. You can look up online. We all have iPhones, right?
Yeah.
Apple, these major social media platforms have CEOs. The Saudis, the richest people in the world are operating in plain sight. And so I feel like when you aim the target at this unnamed, mysterious cabal of people eating babies in the hills, you're basically creating a thing that doesn't exist to convince people to look in the wrong
But
direction.
who is doing that, right? Like you said, we can look up the richest people in the world, but we're everyday people.
Yeah.
We have jobs, we have things that we're supposed to be focusing on that are outside in the realm of information finding. We don't have the time to go through all of the different NGOs that these people have created to hide themselves from this.
Right.
This is the job of journalists. This is the job of our media. Unfortunately, our media has been captured by these same elites that you're talking about. Not to bring up another conspiracy theory here, right? But this is what used to be the fourth estate, right? We used to be able to trust journalists to get to the bottom of it so that we, the plumber, didn't have to spend our weekends digging through tax files and be like, oh my God, did George Soros really get $270 million from USAID?
Yeah.
That's not what we planned on doing, right? This was your job. And now the conspiracy theory is anybody that doesn't trust the establishment narrative. They have made us distrust our neighbor and trust the government. They have made us look at each other from a veil of the citizen doesn't have privacy, but the government deserves privacy. This is a matter of national security.
Right.
Well, if it's a matter of national security that we can't know who was selling children, then I think they've answered the question.
I think the Epstein thing is probably like the biggest potential breakthrough into dismantling some of those blackmail networks that have kept so much of the media and government compliant. But the thing is, whenever people stop trusting the mainstream narrative, which overall I think is a good thing, it makes way for an entire vacuum.
Real quick, sorry to cut you off. Which is a good thing? Distrusting the mainstream narrative?
When people stop trusting the mainstream narrative and do their own research, generally that's a good thing. However, that creates a vacuum where people who are even less reliable can fill the void with different stuff.
But that's okay though, because information is cleansing. Sunlight is cleansing. But the best part about the conspiracy community, and I didn't start as a conspiracy theorist. I'm a guy that trusts the government, USA, baby. But as you pull at these threads, you start realizing the government has lied to us over and over and over again. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Oh, good job.
Okay, so that's just a tidbit of the link I also put in the chat, and it's very good. And that guy has over 10.5 million followers. So it's becoming mainstream now. Yeah, people are waking up. Yeah. So I'm really hopeful. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be gross. It's gonna be long. But I'm hopeful.
Right.
I'm very hopeful.
I am too, but we have to start seeing some accountability, and it has to come from the top down. It's got to come from the Trump administration, and we're seeing too many cover-ups. The Epstein thing now is a hoax, and it's not real. And I just saw they just released emails from Epstein, and in those emails, one of them I read said, is Elon Musk going to the island? It didn't say which island, but potentially Elon Musk went to the island. It had a host of other people that, I think about 20 people were brought up in those emails. And I've said this over and over and over and over and over, and I want you people just listen. All you got to do is just do an online search for Studio 54 in the 70s in New York City. Trump would have been in his 30s, the son of a billionaire in New York City, the Big Apple, the center of the world where it all happens. And if you don't know anything about Studio 54, it was basically a private membership association where anything went. You didn't have to go to the stall in the bathroom to do a bump. You just did lines right there on the table next to your drinks as the waitress is walking by. You're getting a blowjob. You're eating pussy. You're having intercourse, all wide open in the bar. That's what was going on at Studio 54 in the 70s in New York City. Absolutely. And everybody and anybody from all over the world, if you were a big star and you wanted to be seen, that's where you went. That was the spot in the world. It wasn't Paris, France. It wasn't Monte Carlo. It wasn't any of those places. It was New York City. And Trump was in the middle of all that. And then what did Trump get into after that? Pageants.
Oh, yeah.
Women.
Yeah.
where
Yes, yes. And we know that Miss Kirk is a pageant winner.
Yep.
So is several other blonde assets we see in media right now.
Absolutely.
Oh, and there was one I just watched this morning about MK Ultra, and it gave the breakdown of what Marilyn Monroe went through. And I'm thinking back, like Melanie was really hard pressed on impersonating me with the fact that they're controlled, they were blackmailed, they were born into it, they had really no options, that they were the true slaves. And I'm like, with all this stuff coming out and people trying to help the public understand what's happened and how people have gotten into these situations, is it's through blackmail, right?
Right.
So I don't know if it's going to come out that someone big, like politically big or whatever, has been blackmailed, but there's going to be blackmail coming out a lot as the reason why people, notable people, have done what they've done. You know, like you don't get anywhere, you don't get to do anything, you are non-existent basically, unless they can get blackmail on you. And that was why they had to slowly push me out of that cult. And they really didn't get a whole lot on me. So they had to cause a major rift to get me to go.
Blackmail.
Unfortunately, me and EDM have come to the conclusion that Melanie and the cult alike thought that because my husband is 14 years my junior, that I was into PDF files, which is not the case.
PDF files.
Right, right. They thought because when we married, I was 40, he was 25, that I was into PDF files.
What are PDF files?
That's the only thing that makes sense to me. That is the code for the Chomo stuff.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
enough for me.
Yeah, that's a lot of circles are using PDF files now. Because now apparently you can't say those words. But I mean,
I get
right,
it.
right,
A
right.
workaround.
Right.
That makes sense.
So if we're in the age of information, everything's coming out into the open. I'm afraid that things are like going to try to become normalized. They're trying to normalize a lot. So there is your spiritual fight. Are you going to allow these things to be normalized or not?
This is Doja Cat's 2026 tour promo.
Maybe.
And you see the
Maxie.
it's Mavie, Mavie. I guess.
Oh no, that's an X. Oh, I think that's isn't that a Maxie? Maybe I'm gonna have to look it up. Yeah, yeah. You do not get there unless you have been initiated. And
control.
You don't get those types of initiation without blackmail. You don't get blackmailed unless you've already sold your soul. There's your devil. There's Satan. Temptation. Can I live humbly? Can I live on, the bare necessities to get by and still be happy? Or am I going to sell my soul? And statistically, the most impoverished countries are filled with the most happy people in the world. Why? Because community and family members, that's what matters.
Yeah, that right there. That's Bad Bunny in a dress. And that's who'll be performing at your next Super Bowl. Yeah, there's your humiliation, complete with the earrings and everything. See his little earring? Programming.
Mm-hmm.
This is what they're
Well,
doing.
I mean, this goes back. I mean, we could go back to George Michael when he started singing "I Want Your Sex," and I first heard it as a little girl, and I said, "Mom, listen to this. I want to tell the preacher." I went and told the preacher, and he laughed. He thought that it was a great song, and I'm like, "Okay."
Probably should listen to
It's
the word.
frequency. Yeah, and see those that refuse to look and question, especially the occult, you will be taking a fool by it. You absolutely will, because it's all hidden in plain sight and there's nothing new under the sun.
No, there's not anything under the sun. They've been doing this for, not decades, not centuries, but thousands of years.
Yes.
Thousands
of years.
I'm trying to find this. I don't mean to get off topic, but this was brought up earlier and I want to chase it real quick. This is Forbes. And this is on the med beds. How Trump boosted bizarre medbed conspiracy theory with deleted post. And this is from today, earlier this morning. President Trump shared and then deleted a seemingly AI-generated video in which he was seen promising Americans access to medbeds, a fictional technology popular with some far-right conspiracy theorists who believe they secretly exist and hold miracle cures for every illness and have been withheld from common Americans. Key facts. The video posted Saturday evening on Trump's Truth Social account featured an apparently AI-generated video falsely showing the president on a Fox News show promising medbed cards for Americans, which would grant access to hospitals designed to restore every citizen to full health and strength. It is unclear why the president's account posted the video, which was taken down hours later, and the White House did not immediately respond to a request for comment from Forbes. The video, which appears to show an AI-generated Lara Trump, the president's daughter-in-law, and a Fox host conducting an interview that never aired, the network confirmed to multiple outlets. So there you go. I can continue to read from this, but I don't want to. And this is what I'm telling you folks, okay? That people are taking their fantasies of all these conspiracies, and they're conspiracies. They're not theories, they're conspiracies, okay? Because nobody can show you a picture of one that works. Proof of concept, proof of success. They can't show it. If you cannot verify those two things, put it on the back burner. It probably doesn't exist. And I just have such a problem, especially with all the Telegram groups where people, they'll label their channel the Lara Trump channel or the Melania Trump channel or the JFK Jr. channel. And you folks seem to believe that those are the real people that are publishing those Telegram channels and posting in that Telegram channel. And that is completely the furthest thing from the truth. These are people who create these Telegram channels, and you can create one under any name you want and then post with anybody's picture that you go steal and make people believe that you are the actual person, and you're not. And they send me all this information, these people posting these long diatribes of all these things that are going to occur and happen, and, the Great Jubilee and the reset and, just 110% bullshit. And it gets parroted over and over and over and over and over until when? What, Buffy? People believe it.
Right, because it, yeah.
We're in the second
We're
generation.
we are so easily programmed. We are so prideful and full of ourselves that we fail to realize that from birth we've been programmed.
Oh, absolutely.
We've been forced into thought prisons, right? And we have no idea who we are. We only know what we have been told we are.
Right.
You know, and this push, this strain on society is being made so that we will excel and succeed somehow, because they will not allow stagnation for thousands of years. That's what they have done. It's a flux and flow, you know, and they talk about in the Bible a time to reap and a time to sow. So it's a balance.
Right.
Here
And
was a psyop.
people had to communicate. And of course, you know, when the printing press came out, that was perfect. You could communicate. So you could tell, hey, this is what's going on with Washington, D.C. This is what's going on in New York, blah, blah, blah. Everybody across the country could read it. Telegraph came out. You could transmit that, print it in another location, so you didn't have to send papers all the way across the country. Radio and television. Great way to present the news, present entertainment. Then they learned, hey, we can actually program people to do things.
Exactly. Yeah.
So not only were
I
they
think what started it is when the Templars found King Solomon's burial. Really, I really believe it. I think that that information was lost for a good bit. And I think once they found it again, it's when they really started implementing a lot of things that they found. Because I've been working on the connection between parasites and the demons of King Solomon.
Whoa. That's That's a couple dots to connect.
Another tidbit from Melanie. I'm telling you, I don't know where she's from, but
wow.
Like I put it in Grok yesterday morning, and we went over it during the morning tea session. And Grok laid out where like the highest ranking demon is associated with Toxo. And we know Toxo passes the blood-brain barrier if we still have one. And
you say Costco? The store?
Oh, Toxoplasmosis gondii. Toxoplasmosis.
Toxoplasmosis. What is that?
That is the king of parasites. That's the one that will turn cat piss into a very sensual, seductive pheromone to the rat and the mouse, and will cause the rat and mouse to go running towards the cat and saying, "Hi, how you doing? Do you want to play?" And then you're dead, right? So, and the toxo can only mate. They can reproduce on their own. That's bad enough. But they can only mate inside the cat's digestive tract. A cat's digestive tract. They want to get it out. So, yeah, that's why, you know, you have all these precautions with cats, and you have crazy cat lady situations. And they say, don't be around it if you have autoimmune or you're pregnant. Do not change the litter. Cat scratch fever. All that stuff.
Well, I've never heard any of this. I've never heard any of this.
Are you kidding me? Really?
Do I need to whip out the Bible?
American Indians were white, black, and red. I believe that, Blue Sky. Yeah. So you really need to look at Toxo, okay? Because Toxo will take over how we think. And years ago, me and my friend Deb did a What the Fuck Betty, where there was this article that come out talking about how toxo can change your appearance to make you seem more appealing. If the toxo within you meets the toxo in someone else, and they really want to mate with that toxo, they can change your pheromones to become more appealing, your visual symmetry to become more appealing. It makes men more aggressive. It makes women more docile. And it is found in large quantities in the Basque region of Spain. Yeah, I looked it up. Where is toxoplasmosis gondii found most in the world? It's in the Basque region of Spain, which is where you have the Basque people who have one of the highest populations of Rh negative blood.
This is a good post right here from Blue Sky. Most people don't realize that the Native Americans indigenous to the United States of America, they traded for slaves who were of all races, cultures, and colors. They didn't care if they were white, black, red, brown, from another indigenous tribe. They really didn't care. And a lot of them, especially my tribe, the Muskogee Creek, eventually had relationships with these slaves to where they had offspring. And most people don't realize, especially the melanated audience out here, that if you go do an ancestral research, you have a lot of indigenous American Indian aside from your African ancestors that you seem to believe that you're from. So people should always take a look at that, a deep, hard look at that. So Tom Cohen questions the blood-brain barrier. Context. I don't understand what you mean questions whether it exists.
Well, a lot of things. There's the crystals colostrum fluid in that comes up from the base of your spine. Comes up from the base of the spine all the way up, and it fuels you.
And what was that called again?
Christos colostrum.
Okay.
Which is the spinal fluid.
Okay.
That, and there is this. It is the special oil that only humans have. That raises from the base of the spine. Ancient Hindu practitioners believed that is the feminine sensuality that lays within us all, the feminine fire, and so it is a part of that. And a lot of people, like I knew a girl who could not get high if she smoked cannabis regular. I said, well, let's get you on this water bong. So I got her on a huge water bong, and I got her on it, and I was like, just inhale, just keep inhaling. And she inhaled till she coughed her head off. It took that amount to go past the blood-brain barrier in order for her to even get any effects from the cannabis. So we do have a protective layer, which is the blood-brain barrier, that keeps a lot of blood flow regulated out of our brain, and it keeps a lot of things out, like the things we inhale through our nose and whatnot.
Yeah, and they're spraying here in Houston. They have not stopped. That's a whole nother subject.
Well, on the metaphysical level, I've started listening to a lot of African American women. Okay. And one of them I listened to, she believes that we are being sprayed so that our consciousness cannot be elevated. Absolutely. Because, at the base, we need energy from the sun. That's why we eat food full of energy. So when we're receiving those healing rays, our consciousness and our vibration is going to raise higher and higher. Different people have different levels. Yeah. Different people have different levels of being able to get stoned or be out in the sun. But the sun definitely raises our consciousness.
Yeah, whenever I start my day, first thing I do is, come downstairs and start my coffee and then take my dog out so she can take care of her business. And when we come in, I give her a smoked hot dog. That's her morning reward for doing what she's supposed to do. And then she'll hit me up and say, hey, I want to go lay out in the sun. And she'll go out there and she'll lay facing the sun for anywhere from 15 minutes to an hour. And she's sun worshiping. She's absorbing the sun. Animals know to go be out in the sun to get that vitamin D, to get those sun rays, to stare at the sun. So we should follow exactly what they're doing. And, a lot of times we don't.
Right. And now I don't know how much of this is true or if it's just more propaganda to see the woohoo agenda of this time through, but there were clairvoyants. I don't know who it was. Someone prophesied that there will be a group of people born in, the decade of the 70s that will be game changers, movers and shakers. Now, I think that there's been a lot trickle in before the 70s, which would be you, Floyd. I was born in the end of 75. I'm right dead in the middle. But during the 70s, that whole generation, that's Gen X latchkey kids who know exactly what tough love is. And our generations will just tell you like it is. And we see through so much. And I believe, especially at this time, those of us born in the 70s, the women are going into menopause. There's another powerful concept that most people don't even talk about.
Repeat that.
Oh, the women born in the 70s at this time were starting to go into menopause. Right. Perimenopausal and menopausal. So it is a major change for a woman, just like going into puberty is a major change. As a woman goes into puberty, she is super powerful, like energetically. We are so powerful when we start our menses. Absolutely. So when we lose it, there's another growth. There's another energetic exchange, right? We get something for what we're giving up. And that is wisdom. That is sage wisdom. We know what we want. We know more of who we are. And we're willing to put up with a lot less shit. So when you're looking at like global agendas, a generation of women who are waking up, coming into their own, they've got to do something. If the prophecy is true, right? If the prophecy is true, that there is going to be, and it's not just the women, I'm just saying at this time, the women that was prophesied are going perimenopausal, menopausal time. Yeah. So I hope because of it, we're not looking, I don't know, Floyd, I'm looking at, they're going to do the stuff to gain more control over the women, right? Like women are just choosing to stay in abusive relationships so they don't have to give up half of custody. Or it's to pressurize so that something pops, explodes, and something new can be built.
I have a daughter, and the only known child I have. If I have more, I don't know about them. But as a man, as a good-looking, handsome man, well-spoken, never had to worry about anything, be able to get pretty much any woman I wanted. in hindsight, I was a cad. I did some devious, things I'm not proud of with women. For those of you who are watching, look, I do sincerely apologize for all my past transgressions, and I have to live with that every day. So don't think I don't. Don't think I don't remember those encounters, because I do. And by having a daughter and having, I didn't get a chance to watch her go through puberty because I missed those 14 years while I was in prison. So last time I saw her, she was a 3-year-old and then a 17-year-old. So I missed that gap. So I didn't quite understand that. But in hindsight, and the way I look at it now as a different person, different human being a woman is hard work. Because first you have to get into your menses cycle. And then once you're there, you're stuck with it for the next 30, 40, 50 years for, anywhere from three days to up to 10 days, a month, you're bleeding, you're going through your cycle. Right. And then when you do finally get off your cycle, now you're going through all these hormonal imbalances, going through menopause, change of life. If you've been with your spouse, maybe your spouse having a midlife crisis and you've grown apart, the children have left the nest, there's no reason to stay together. You have different political views. For women, it's difficult because, for one, you're targets. For two, you're easy prey. And for three, a lot of you have come from broken homes now, because there's more divorces than there are sustainable marriages. Yeah. And as we discussed earlier about shattering the mind, fracturing the mind to be able to have ease of programming, ease of institutionalism for whatever you're trying to direct into that person, to control them, to change them.
That's why I think like the conversations we've had about sacred union, especially with plant substances, and the guy that I forgot his name that you were just showing that was like talking about getting more into tantric things, getting into seeing how we need to see these unions as absolutely sacred. I think what they did in ancient times is there were masters of ceremonies, of course, and there were people that were in charge of giving out these substances, and you become unified with other people. These types of rituals, I'm not, condemning or condoning either way. It's just, that's what they did. And maybe if we bring back these rites of passages where women honored their coming of age, men were honored as, they had their coming of age ceremonies. It all goes back to tribalism, right? It goes back to belonging and community and cohesiveness and looking out for all instead of just, one or two. Always looking out for all. I think those types of rites of passages need to come back. If as self-governing people, if we can facilitate those rites of passages to say this is important and this is how you deal, women need a space to go to honor the young girls and say, this is what's going on with your body. This is how you deal with it. Remove the ugliness of the menses. I couldn't tell you how many times in my life I've heard a dude say, I don't trust nothing that bleeds for 7 days and don't die. That is life. That is the miracle of being a woman. That is what is so beautiful about being a woman. And unfortunately, what we're dealing with is groups of men, women hating men, or men that hate women, okay, who are easily susceptible to be groomed themselves. So you have groups like the Groypers who say, okay, you hate women, go after femboys, trans people, because they have such a hatred for women. for whatever reason. But these groups have been around since ancient times.
Right.
The Orphics, the ancient Orphics, they hated women. Women were not allowed.
Right. Most of these entities that we're discussing here, the pedophiles, all those, they're on the fringe of society. But for some reason in the last decade, they've been allowed to assimilate into normal society, And I had a picture of this, I don't know what the hell he was, some guy. It's got pigtails and clown makeup all over his face that, clearly you would look like, hey, that dude's scary. In 1974, oh, mom, dad, and they would come check that dude. Now you see that person and it's just like, okay, yeah, that's normal. That's the new normal. Instead of that dude's a freak. He could possibly be a predator, targeting my children or whatever. And when you talk, go ahead.
I think there is necessary evils and what they call agents of Satan that have to push you to the brink, push civilization to the brink to see what civilization will do.
Right.
And that's exactly what you're dealing with, is people that have themselves been pushed to the brink or programmed. And what we're learning is these programs, like these MK testing programs, they happened in our local public schools. It happened. This type of stuff, it happened to me. And I kept asking Melanie, what determines whether they use you or not? And she said, your heart. She said that they can tell by your heartbeat. And I don't believe that. I think they can tell by your energy signature, by your aura. I think they have to use different factors of, determining if you're going to be able to, be influenced. Are you an empath, or do you carry those narcissistic traits that are needed in order for them to use you as a leader in society?
Right.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
It makes sense. And when you were talking about the enjoining between the masculine and the feminine, and when you said that, it brought up a story that I heard Dr. Group tell. And for those of you who don't follow Dr. Group, he's a mainstream proponent for urine therapy, which is called urine. And I was on a Zoom with him and a bunch of his subscribers, and he was talking about the urine therapy, and I still don't completely comprehend the full scale of what that entails. But I do know you drink your first morning's urine. It contains stem cells, and what you're doing is you're regenerating your own stem cells within your body. Now, part of that, which I've heard, is that they store this first morning urine, and it eventually turns red, like red mercury. And according to Ed, that the longer it sits, it gets more powerful, but it is your complete ancestral line, your lineage, all incorporated into that urine. So, yeah, and this is going to get real crazy. And I couldn't believe he said this. And when he did, I was like, oh my God, you sound like me. No wonder we're friends. So his wife, Daniela, she had hers stored. And apparently when you inject this or drink it back into your system, you're regenerating all those past ancestral lives. He took his wife's urine, put it in a syringe, and then shot himself right up in the buttocks and the gluteus. Yes. And he said that he was ill for quite a few days behind doing that when he hadn't been using his own. But he did this just to experiment, just to see what it was like, to push the envelope, so to say. And that's the people I like incorporating with, is people who do push the envelope. We'll test the waters, we'll dive in head first. And, that's what he did. I've never heard of that before. And when I heard it, I was like, did he just say what I thought he said? Who in their right mind would inject their wife's urine that's been sitting for probably months into their ass?
Right, blue sky. Yuck, indeed. Yeah. So
it sounds
it makes
yucky.
it. Is this an Arabic doctor?
He's a chiropractor.
Oh, is he? Okay. Well, Arabic doctors. I don't know. I don't think so. Yeah, you're gonna have to put his link. Maybe put his link in the chat for me so I can click on it. What I know about the Indian Arabic is they will hold on to ghee, and white buffalo ghee is like the top quality ghee. And the older ghee is, the more nutritious it is. It's brain food.
This is
Okay.
Ed's personal site, drgroup.com. This is Ed.
drgroup.com.
Yeah. And he also has his other site, globalhealing.com. And he has globalwellness.com, I think, or .org. But
Is he a Harvard graduate? Is that what that says?
Yes. Well, he didn't go to Harvard. He actually went to Texas Chiropractic College in Pasadena, Texas. And that's where he got his doctorate of chiropractics. And then he has since gone on and take courses at Harvard for various things. I know he's done kinesiology and some other things. That's probably what his degree is at Harvard. Dr. Group, his mission is a passionate advocate and educator for natural healing. Dr. Group DC is a world-renowned natural health expert, best-selling author, and frequent guest on radio and television. As a healer and alternative health advocate, Dr. Group DC has dedicated his life to helping others. Dr. Group DC's mission is to identify and eliminate the root cause of disease. He is the founder and chairman of Global Healing, an industry leader and innovator in the field of natural health. Through his company and his media appearances, Dr. Group DC is spreading the message of positivity, hope, and wellness throughout the world. And the primary duty of a doctor should be to teach, not prescribe. And his wife, Daniela, is a medical doctor.
That is amazing. And I was looking, it's $100 a month, which isn't bad. And I'm like thinking about, maybe it wouldn't be bad to join. You get a lot of stuff with it. I'm looking at it. Ancient Books Library.
He does certified natural health certification to become a certified natural health coach. And I'm enrolled in that. I haven't started it yet. I need to finish my writ habeas corpus before I do that. I didn't realize how traumatizing going back over my trial records, appellate records, post-conviction records would actually on me. Yeah, because, when I'm reading this stuff, it puts me right back in my prison cell. Right in front of my fucking Smith Corona typewriter, my carbon paper, and, just puts me in that reality. And it's overwhelming. I didn't realize how traumatic it would be on me. And I had to actually put it aside, let some time expire before I jump back in. And today's my jump back in day. So hopefully I can get at it and look at it from what. This is the issue people have with doing legal work, is you get so emotionally tied to the narrative that your passion comes through instead of following the legal framework. And I have a problem doing, allowing my emotions to get into my argument as opposed to the facts. So I had to step back from that. I caught myself, spending time on topics or categories that really didn't have anything to do with my ground of error. So I had to step back and refocus and reevaluate and redo everything. So I did that.
Yeah. It sounds like you thought you were healed over that experience, and reliving, rehashing some stuff reminded you there's still more to heal.
I don't think I'll ever be healed from that trauma. Hopefully one day I can be. I definitely want to go down to Mexico and do the Ibogaine. People aren't very familiar with that.
Oh, me too. Look, take me with you. I'm game. I'll do it.
Okay.
I'll do it.
We
I
can
don't
make
know
that.
who Ian is on YouTube, but that is this is my channel. For those
You don't
of
know
you that would
Eon?
like Eon. Mm-mm.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Eon's a buddy of mine. Eon, God bless him. Sometimes he talks in this alternative voice. Well, a lot of time he talks in that alternative voice, which is really kind of off-putting. And I've told him that personally on the phone. Bro, just talk normal. It's so hard to listen to you when you go into that, because he has an odd voice anyway. But his material's good. He's fighting the fight. I really don't follow him, and I only have so much time in my day to do so many things, and I try to stay up to date on all the other stuff and not follow all these people that do the same things that I do or I cover or I've covered.
Right.
Because I've come to the point where if it's not working and it doesn't work consistently, I don't even want to know about it. I don't want to hear anything about it. Don't care about it. If it works, I'm all in. I'll pay to know. I'll pay to learn, whatever it takes.
Right.
But like I said, I have those connections where I can pick up a phone and I can call these folks. And that's where a lot of people miss that. If I want to know more about them, I contact them. I reach out to them. Hey, what's up? Blah, 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 blah. Now, one of the things I've been working on, a couple things, I'm always working on multiple projects.
Same. Same.
And this is my ledger. This is the beginning of my ledger. And according to Brian Robertson, pastor of the Way, Basilikos Nomos on YouTube and Telegram, they are having success using the bill of exchange. However, with the bills of exchange, you have to have a ledger. So this is part of building my trust to be able to utilize the bill of exchange process. So this is something I'm working on the side, is evaluating all my assets, creating a ledger of all my assets with the values. So my trust actually has a value, a consistent value that people can look at and go, oh, okay, we'll accept that bill of exchange on the collateral that you have. So that's something I'm working on in the background. A lot of you don't know, a year ago, May, I was in an auto accident. My lower back was screwed up. I was about a month away from doing my first professional bodybuilding contest. I was in probably the best shape of my entire life. And I think that's what saved me in that wreck and didn't give me, some permanent damage, although I do have damage. I actually had to go to the doctor today to get a whole, man, I hate automated answering systems. So anyway, part of this health journey that I'm on is doing detoxes. And this is a liver detox that I got from Dr. Group. And of course, there's nothing in it because
You've done it.
Everything's right here. And I just completed the liver cleanse protocol, and it incorporated doing this liver health and
Nice.
turmeric right here. And basically, you just squeeze that, and that's, well, there's none in here. There you go. That's not quite a milliliter, but it's going to fill up to about right there. It's almost empty. That's why. And you do these in the morning, afternoon, evening for 4 days. In the evening, you take these oxy powder cleansing tablets or capsules. And then on your 5th day, you don't do anything. And in the evening, you drink this Epsom salts with 8 ounces of warm water. And then 2 hours later, and I don't have it, you drink this bottle, it's probably a little bit smaller than this, of organic olive oil. Then you go lay down for 30 minutes on your right side with your liver facing down, curled up in a fetal position. You stay there for 30 minutes, and after that, you can spread out and go to sleep. And the next day, you do some more of these and flush and continue the flush.
Have you looked at what's coming out of you? Like, have you inspected it to see if, like, there's mass cleansing going on?
If you're going to utilize this particular liver cleanse, don't make any plans because you're going to have diarrhea for a week.
Yeah. Yeah, you're getting cleansed. Dang.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'm telling you, so the Count Saint Germain, who was accredited for living forever and carried the elixir of life, inside the elixir of life was antiparasitic herbs.
Right.
Antiparasitic herbs.
And this is where we're getting, okay, folks. I'm trying to move to a different category. I want to share with you my journey for penultimate health, what it looks like for me, what I'm going to go through. I haven't decided how I'm going to do it yet, whether I want to do that on Telegram or YouTube or Rumble and document my own progress of what I'm going through. I am part of what I had to deal with today is I am scheduled to have a lumbar radio frequency ablation, an RFA. Are you familiar with that?
Ablation. Mm-hmm.
This is where here's the definition. A lumbar radio frequency ablation, RFA, is an outpatient procedure for treating low back, buttock, hip, and groin pain. It's also called lumbar facet thermal coagulation or rhizotomy. What are lumbar facet joints and the pain? The lumbar RFA uses radio frequency energy to disrupt nerve function. When this is done to a lumbar medial branch nerve, the nerve can no longer transmit pain from the injured facet joint. So basically, I've gone in, I've done the injections. Then we did the 2 sessions of where they put these pins in me. And now I'm scheduled for this. Unfortunately, the doctor who does this is only does it once a month. And of course, that day I was scheduled to work, so I'm going to have to take off that day. But that's what I'm doing.
I've had that done. So they're basically burning the nerve ends, right?
Correct. Burning the nerve ends so I don't have any pain anymore because it gets intense, so intense sometimes where I'm seeing white light and I'm just bent over the counter going, man, make this fucking stop. So I have to alleviate that pain. For me, when I go to the gym, I'm not there to pick up girls. I'm not there to meet people. I'm there for one thing, and that's to get my workout on. And when I get that workout on, I work out so hard, so extreme that serotonin and dopamine's just rushing, that all I want to do is just work out harder, longer, and more. And for me, somebody who just, thrives upon that scenario, and not being able to do that is detrimental to my livelihood, really, because it affects my whole life.
Right. Yeah, you've got to get that energy out. And that's what a lot of people don't realize. And, it's like fat. What is fat on the body? It's stored energy. I mean, it's also parasites and contaminants, but it's stored energy. It's stored energy that you eat to create, but do nothing with.
Right.
And we aren't taught that. We aren't taught how to properly care for ourselves, which is another part of why we need these types of ceremonies in community.
Right. Wait.
Yeah.
The society in America was decimated with the industrialization of the United States of America. That's when the rural farms and ranches, where they had to have big families to support the ranch and farm, right? Mm-hmm. So they could do commerce and barter with their neighbors for, hey, we're raising sheep, you're raising pigs, let's do some swapping. Okay. That's how it works. So everything, if you needed something, you went into town to get it. And we've pulled those families into the city, and now they're trapped in the city, and they're not doing all the things that they did when they were in the rural area. And a lot of that was self-medication, living off the land, and utilizing alternative medication, not traditional pharmaceuticals, to heal and stay purified. And that's what we have to get back to.
Right. That's where I've been going. That's been my whole journey, is to get back to that. And the intermittent fasting, starving those assholes out. I've come to realize that true hunger is a hollowing feeling. It's extremely hollowing. The growling and the discomfort that you're feeling when you think you're hungry, you're really not hungry. I mean, you might be a little bit, but that growling, they say, oh, well, that's just, gastrointestinal fluid and stuff. And I'm like, but is it really? I don't think it is. I think it's demons.
It's the parasites going, feed me, feed me, feed me.
Yes. I watch Little Shop of Horrors.
Right.
Yes, legal lobotomization, Blue Sky. That's exactly what's happened. Legal lobotomies.
Yep.
Yeah, we talked about me and Sherry talked about it, because she was talking about, she was born in late 50s. She said, well, she was the outcast. She was smoking marijuana about 12, 13, and they wanted to send her into this place for kids that were just rowdy and wild and smoking weed and having sex, but it was a cult. And she said all her friends that went, like, she had friends that were committed to this place, they come out completely different, absolutely reformed. So yeah, cults and brainwashing will reform you, and I think that's the whole main reason for it, period.
And we have too many cults.
We have so many cults. And it's like, okay, well, which one's going to win? The popular ones. Whichever cult wins.
Right. Whichever one's more attractive.
There's going to be a new world religion. Well, what is that? Do we even know yet? We don't even know yet. Which religion, whichever one wins. That's kind of where we're at, Floyd.
Absolutely where we're at. All right. Well, I'm going to wrap this up.
You wrap it up.
Always a pleasure to have you on. And I had no idea we were going to go down all these different paths.
I'm sorry. I'm
grateful for that, because I learned a lot.
Yeah. Well, I've got a lot to share, that's for sure. I just need to get it
Absolutely.
all
Yeah,
out.
we should do something real regular, more often. I'm trying to figure out
Yeah.
where I need to go, what I need to do. I'm going to Puerto Rico, and I was supposed to go either the first or second week of November, and I'm not going to be able to do that because my 45th high school reunion. Wow, can't believe I'm saying that.
Wow.
Yes, is the first week, and then the second week is the only other day that the doctor can come perform the second half of my RFA procedure because they can only do one side at a time. So I go, what side do you want done first? And I had to think, we'll do the left side, and then we'll go do the right side. So probably the third week that I go to Puerto Rico with Juan. And, I've been trying to move there. I want to move there. I want to, set up a community, where we incorporate permaculture, live off the land. There's so much opportunity in Puerto Rico.
Mm-hmm.
Tremendous amount.
Well, I have my father-in-law. We've already discussed. I mean, he doesn't have very long, and once he goes, we're selling the house and the property, and we're moving somewhere where we can be sustainable and live off the land, grow cannabis legally, do what needs to be done for our health, other people's health, incorporating cannabis in that. I have an aromatherapist certificate. I'm thinking about and going on to do level 2 and 3. At level 3, you get into the real scientific alchemy of distillation and distilling all the essential oils. I really want to get into distilling cannabis oils, different strains and whatnot, and how can that be applied as natural medicine too. So I'm very hopeful, and I would love to see you just blow up down there and maybe even be a part of it.
If you want to pursue the cannabis angle, hit me up. I'll hook you up with my buddy Mark. He used to do that up in Washington State, and he worked with all the terpenes, and he got way above my educational level when it came to that category, talking about growing cannabis and the terpenes and the strains and all that stuff. I was like, I don't even know what you're talking about, bro. I missed that whole evolution while I was in prison about how cannabis evolved from, a 4-finger lid for $20 from your neighborhood dealer to,
300.
Of a gram of, purple haze or whatever.
This right here, Pot Panel Productions, that's a new channel that we're going to start where we're going to be covering all things cannabis. We're going to have panel discussions. We're going to be doing product reviews, as well as looking at the history of it, because the history of it has been hidden from us. And I've got one author, Chris Bennett, who I would love to get him on your show. He'd love to talk about how cannabis has been hidden in the Bible, in other ancient texts. There's depictions of it in ancient stone buildings, churches. It was a sacred plant. A lot of scholars think it's the tree of life. So, yeah, the history of it's beautiful.
Tobacco and cannabis. And this is part of the process that the Native Americans, indigenous, utilized when they had, they passed around the peace pipe. It was tobacco.
Patrick Devine. No, Patrick Devine.
I do. I want to get back to this question right here. Puerto Rico is a United States territory, absolutely, except San Juan. And why do you say San Juan is not part of the U.S. territory? I've never heard that before. I've never seen that. I've been to San Juan twice. I stayed there for probably a month. Never saw that, heard it. I don't know.
I've never been on an airplane.
You've never been on an airplane?
I've never been on an airplane.
Oh, you're a for real hillbilly.
I am for real. Farthest north I've been is DC. West is Illinois and Memphis, I guess. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Illinois and Memphis is the furthest east I've been, or west. And I've been to Florida,
Okay.
but that was to visit Melanie. So, you know,
Well,
she
there's
kept saying, you know, I need to take you into the Bermuda Triangle. Have you ever been to the Bermuda Triangle? I said, no, I've never been there. I've always wanted to go there. I had no idea what was in the Bermuda Triangle or around it. Do you
okay.
know? Epstein Island.
I don't.
Epstein Island.
Epstein Island? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that. I know Puerto Rico's within the triangle. And when I
Yep.
flew there, you know, ingress, egress both times, that was on my mind. Hey, I'm in the Bermuda Triangle. Are we going to disappear?
Oh.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It crossed my mind.
How things just disappear.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Blue sky. You want to grow in West Texas. I encourage you, if you want to grow in West Texas, to go to Bloomberg Originals on YouTube. I just watched the video yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. Regarding all of the oil fields, and they're calling these abandoned or unused or no longer productive wells zombie wells. And they call them zombie wells because when they do the horizontal fracking, okay, they drill down and then they drill parallel to the geography on the surface. And when they do that, they create all these different fractures. So in order to extract the petroleum products from that particular vein or level underneath us, they have to pump water down there. That water becomes radioactive, toxic, full of heavy metals and poisons. Well, once that water is utilized, they pump it back up and then they pump it to a completely different level, not as deep. Now that level is becoming corrupted with all this toxic water, wastewater. And what that's causing is Texas became the earthquake capital of the United States of America
Oh my God.
because of that. And what it's doing is contaminating the existing water tables.
Mm-hmm.
So everything in West Texas is getting contaminated. So you should probably think twice about where you want to grow, because in order to have a good healthy product, organic at least, you have to supply it with organic nutrients. So if you're going to grow in West Texas, that's what you're up against. And this is kind of new. They're over there. The Texas Railroad Commission is over all of these zombie wells, and they don't give a crap. They don't care. They're not doing anything about it. There's there's people out there discovering them, trying to remediate them. And what they do is when they dig that one drilling hole and they put the casing in it, then they surround that with another casing and then cement that in. Well, that is now leaking due to the pressure that they're putting in it. When they put more of this water in it, that water is going to go to the place of least resistance, and that's back up through the pre-existing wells. British territory, huh? You saw that yesterday? Well, good for you. Yeah, please be aware.
Yeah. I
Oh,
would definitely talk to my state officials or county officials, Blue Sky.
Well, it's the Texas Railroad Commission. That's who's over all the oil wells and oil fields. And, they're not doing anything about it. And if I remember correctly, was George B. Bush over the railroad, or was he over the land commissioner? I think he was over the railroad.
I don't know. The only thing I know a whole lot, or not a whole lot, but enough to talk sensibly on is TVA, Tennessee Valley Authority, and what they did to the land and how they strong-armed. I mean, there was trout where they built one dam, Norris Dam, I think. No, maybe Fort Loudon Dam. Anyway, certain trout only existed in this one area of the world. This one trout, this one area. You know, the Native Americans and environmental people really pushed to try to save it, to save this area. Why do we have to have the dam right here? Why don't we put the dam over there? No, no, no. We got to have the dam over here. Well, TVA gets its way.
Yeah. Almost
And
always.
now, I mean, yeah, corruption has caused so many species to go extinct, not just animal, insect, but plant. Who knows what we've lost, what could have healed what, you know?
It's of my opinion that every remedy for every ailment known to mankind is within nature, and we've just been suppressed or they've eradicated it.
Absolutely, they've eradicated it because they can't put a patent on it.
Right.
You can't
Yep.
patent nature. If you can't put a patent on it and stamp it with your name, then you can't, benefit monetarily.
Right. Yep. Absolutely. And Blue Sky, I have to bat that down because not everybody's corrupt. I'm not corrupt. Buffy's not corrupt, or Jevem. I would assume that you're not corrupt. So everybody would be a loose term on that one.
Right. Yeah, like you can't put everybody in the same box. Not every Satanist sacrifices, live creatures or whatnot. Well, they do what that all of us. I mean, they decided they were going to do the action and figure out if God was going to sort it out.
Right? Yeah, absolutely. Well, kick ass, man. Let's do this again. And if you want to line up some guests to come on the show, talk about, esoteric topics, I'm in anytime.
Yeah.
Just hit me up.
Right. Well, I'm going to interview this one guy. I might get you in and you could maybe stream it to yours, but he got away. Like, he got away with his life, barely got away with his life from this one cult.
Okay.
And he was needing coverage. He said, I've already contacted Candace Owens. I said, Candace ain't doing shit for you.
Candace wants the big stories, and I don't blame her. I mean, shit, that woman is unbelievable.
Yeah.
You turn her on in the first 4 minutes, she's got 300,000 viewers on YouTube. That's very impressive.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Consider.
Well, I mean, I would contact her about like what I've been through, but I was on Sean Atwood's and they got to Sean. They got to Sean to where Sean deleted my interview.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. It was all a big setup, too. It's pretty messed up. I can talk about that some other day.
Yeah, we'll get on that. All right, girl.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming on and hanging out with me on the High Noon Show.
I'll see everybody later. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you, darling.
Bye.
Hillbilly. Hillbilly Deluxe. Never been in a plane. Wow. We're going to have to go to Mexico and go on that adventure for sure. Have I researched where Candace came from? Pilgrim Society? I know she worked with the Daily Mail. No, not the Daily Mail. She was on one of those platforms. I don't know if some of these things are incubators for, superstars, kind of like the whole, Mouseketeers with the Disney, that kind of thing. Could possibly be. I don't know. The only time I've ever been approached was back when I was a teenager, and I was a group of us from, I don't know if it was from Little League baseball, Little League football, our school, or just our community, but we were all invited to go to the DeMolay Lodge and go through that process. And when I went through it the first time, you know, the whole initiation, I was like, oh my God, this is so stupid. We're in the dark and blah, blah, blah. What are these people trying to do to us? And that was it. That was the only initiation that I've ever been approached with about joining a secret society or anything like that. I just want to make you guys aware of what's going on, you know, what Trump is doing, what the administration is doing, that, you know, don't trust your government, not for a minute. Government's not on your side. Our government's been surrendered to the billionaire megalomaniacs who want to become a demigod with the alpha AI, because whoever has the alpha AI will be the ruler. They will be the supreme ruler, because they'll control everything that you hear, read, watch, narrative, what you can say, what you can't say, penalize you, punish you, restrict you, even make you an outcast, a pariah in society that you can't incorporate with, because your societal credit score has you as an outlaw. Imagine not being able to incorporate with your own society because you've been outcast by AI and you have no recourse. What's the world going to look like when somebody else controls your checkbook, your bank account, your retirement, your savings, your governmental benefits? Nobody's raising the alarm about what's coming. Be prepared, be vigilant, stay focused. Don't fall for the hype. Don't listen to the cults. Don't listen to these guru leaders who, you know, pontificate the same bullshit that they did a year ago. And please, by all means, you can do this to me. And I encourage you to do this with everybody on social media. See what they're talking about today. Go back 1 year from today and see what they were talking about a year ago. And then go back 2 years to the day, 3 years to the day, 4 years to the day, 5, however long they've been doing it, and listen to them every year. If they're still talking about the same fucking bullshit they've been talking about for years and nothing's changed, and they've been just like stringing you along, turn it off. Stop the madness. Go live another life, because the life you're leading is going nowhere. I've been guilty of it, so don't think I'm in a glass house throwing rocks. I'm not. But you have to wake up. You have to visualize what you're in, what you're doing, that you're going in circles. You're never going to go anywhere. That's why I tell everybody over in Anna's assemblies, you are never, ever, 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 I swear. With this out. I swear to God, not one county, one state, and Anna Von Reich's Federation will ever become autonomous, self-governing, and overtake the de jure or the de facto. Never, ever going to happen. So stop the madness. Be a leader. Don't be a follower. And reach out to other assemblies and harmonize. Otherwise, you're going to get overrun and you're going to get it taken. You're going to get caught up in the system. You're not going to be able to get out. And you better have your shit together. And you better be willing to register with a digital ID. You better be ready for facial recognition, biometrics, surveillance state, license plate readers. Everything you do, say, go, touch, feel, watch, eat, sleep, smoke, drink, fuck, fight, all going to be documented digitally. And if you're not prepared for it, it's coming, folks. It's coming. They're going to assimilate you right on in, and these people are going to take it. They're not going to fight it. They're going to use disaster capitalism to get it. It's a national security issue. We must have it to prevent you from getting raped, murdered, pillaged, plunged. They want to take away everybody's weapons in the United States. Why? So you cannot defend yourself. They want a civil war between the races. And if not between the races, between the political divisions. When in fact, we the people should have a civil war with our own governments. That's what they don't want you to do. They want you to fight each other, not them. And they're going to do everything they can to continue to program you, institutionalize you to get what they want. And that's penultimate control and authority over your life, where they can do whatever they want, whenever they want, to whoever they want, and get wealthy doing it and more powerful. And we're just the peons that they're going to tread upon to get where they want to go. And unless we, the people, effectuate change, if you're over there in the Republican Party and you think you're going to change something, you're full of shit. If you're over in the Democratic Party and you think you're going to change something, you're full of shit. The overall dogma of those two political parties, they're the same bird, different wings, the same agenda, power and authority, and to suppress the people and make you believe you're living life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Are you happy getting up and fighting traffic, go to work? Being undervalued, underpaid, underappreciated, overworked, and then you got to fight traffic home. Then you got to deal with reality. And unless we effectuate the change, nothing's going to happen. We're going to continue to have the same bullshit, be fed the same fucking lies. We're going to listen to our president of the United States tell us, oh, I'm going to stop a war in 24 hours. All I got to do is pick up a phone, make a couple phone calls. And that's a wrap. And then a couple months later, shit, man, they don't want to pay attention. We're going to World War III. What? World War III? Then he changes it. Oh, no. Well, since I can't settle it, we need to get the European Union and NATO to support the fight. And not only that, Zelensky announces within 24 hours of that announcement that another $80+ billion of military aid and surplus will go to who? Ukraine. So in 9 short months, we've had a complete flip-flop. Our peace president is now a war president. He's now supporting a war, a proxy war. If you do not understand that we're on a multifaceted war front, Yemen, Middle East, Russia, Ukraine, and I could go on to some of these other smaller jurisdictions, but why? Why are we fighting a war in Ukraine against Russia? Why? Obviously not for the rare earth minerals in Ukraine, because we've already secured that deal. Why are we going to prolong a war? Why are we sending money and munitions to another country when we don't even have our own munitions? People are struggling. Why don't you take that $82 billion and cut taxes? Why don't you take that $82 billion and put it on the gas tax? So instead of paying $3.50 or $2.50 for a gallon of gas, we can pay $1.50. Why don't you just come up and say, you know what? For the fiscal year 2026, no American in the United States needs to pay federal taxes. You get it all back, 100% of it. There's so many things that can be done that aren't being done, that if you just use common sense, rational logic, you're going to come to the same conclusion, that there's more to be done and nobody's doing it. It's not even on their plate. It's probably not even the same restaurant that they're at, because they don't care about you. The only way you can affect change through the political machinations is go run for the highest elected position in that jurisdiction. If you want to be on the county level, you want to be the county judge, the one in charge of the commissioner's court. You want to be the sheriff, chief law enforcement officer. If it's a city, you want to be the mayor. That way you can affect change. You want to be on city council. You want to be on your school board. Those positions make change. Those positions have positions of authority and power and effectuate the future. So if you're going to sit back and rest on your laurels, you're going to get your just desserts, and you're not going to like it. Trust me. The world is an evil and wicked place. Only the righteous will survive. Focus on your health. Focus on your wealth. And your wealth is not only monetary, it's knowledge. It's resources. It's your community. Thank you for watching. I hope you all have an awesome week. Stay prepared, stay vigilant. May God bless each and every one of you. Have a good night.
Yeah. You gotta bust past, don't catch no feelings. I come through with the style that's always revealing. From the block like the tick-tock, don't stop. I was at Shorty, you know she was non-stop. I had the hot pot, chilling like a real god. Everybody know Big One was a show shot. You get high with the Don, here's the real supply. You get high with the Don, here's the real supply. It goes on and on, ain't no fucking questions why. The gangster of love, get the real fucking supply. What? She came through, giving me more than I can tell you. Everybody knows the next level. I'm so clever. Take the day off. Take the day off. Yeah. Get high on your own supply. Feel like a dime when you do or die. Just get high on my own supply. Cold do or die when I'm feeling like why. Choose a dime piece. Yes, one of a kind. Holler at me, I was one of a kind. We had a bill, throw the shoes to the side. Come on, throw them shoes to the side. Take the day off with me. Come on, take it off with me. Take the day off with me. Take the day off. Get on trap me. Trapping with my friend right here. That's what I say. The past St. Jacks, they ain't up to nothing. Everybody loves it with me. Okay, yeah. When mom cut off your welfare, I was there. Holding you down, mama. Holding you down. When it left you alone, I was there. Everybody knows I was there. You wanna call me out now? Still loving you like I'm loving the sound. Yes, I'll still be there. Them found ass niggas ain't here right now. Who loves you now? And who loves you now? And who loves you now? Take the day off with me. Take the day off with me. Take the day off with me. Take the day off. Take the day off with me. Maybe the whole fucking year. Oh, Leon, bitch, I'm fucking prepared. This is my love song when I'm drunk off the beer. I love you, bitch. I'm the. Yeah. Take the day off. Cause that fucking 9 to 5 sucks. Take the day off. Opportunity. What? Take the day off. Take the day off. from the beginning. Yeah. You gotta bust past, don't catch no feelings. I come through with the style that's always revealing. From the block like the tick-tock, don't stop. I was at shorty, you know she was non-stop. I had the hot pot, chilling like a real god. Everybody know Big One was a show shot. You get high with the Don, here's the real supply. You get high with the Don, here's the real supply. It goes on, ain't no fucking questions why. The gangster of love, get the real fucking supply. What? She came through, giving me more than I can tell you. Everybody knows the next level. I'm so clever. Take the day off. Take the day off. Yeah. Get high on your own supply. Feel like a dime when you do or die. Just get high on my own supply. Cold do or die when I'm feeling like why. Choose a dime piece. Yes, one of a kind. Holler at me, I was one of a kind. We had a bill, throw the shoes to the side. Come on, throw them shoes to the side. Take the day off.